please call the roll.
Good morning. Ryan.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Epps.
Here.
Rubio.
Here.
Wheeler.
Here. Now we're going to hear from legal counsel on the rules of order and decorum. Good morning.
Welcome to the Portland City Council. To testify before council in person or virtually, you must sign up in advance on the council agenda at portland.gov/council/agenda. Information on engaging with council can be found on the council clerk's webpage. Individuals may testify for 3 minutes unless the presiding officer states otherwise. Your microphone will be muted when your time is over. The presiding officer preserves order. Disruptive conduct, such as shouting, refusing to conclude your testimony when your time is up, or interrupting others' testimony or council deliberations, will not be allowed. If you cause a disruption, a warning will be given. Further disruption will result in ejection from the meeting. Anyone who fails to leave once ejected is subject to arrest for trespass. Additionally, council may take a short recess and reconvene virtually. Your testimony should address the matter being considered. When testifying, state your name for the record. Your address is not necessary. If you are a lobbyist, identify the organization you represent. Virtual testifiers should unmute themselves when the council clerk calls your name. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot. First up is public communications. First individual, please, Keelan, item 492.
Request of Savannah Quorum to address council regarding Rose City self-defense. Savannah Quorum. Doesn't look like they're here.
All right. Next individual, 493, please.
Request of Lenore Zinger to address council regarding Rose City self-defense. It doesn't look like they're here either.
All right. 494.
Request of Rachel Morris to address council regarding women on bicycles.
Welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah. I need to scoot this back to stay away from the mic.
About 6 inches. They're pretty sensitive.
Start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
My name is Rachel Morris. I'm a small business owner. I live up in the St. John's area, and I use she, her pronouns. And the reason I'm here today is to talk to you about why there aren't more women bicyclists on the road. Currently, there's only about 30% of bicyclists that are women. And why is that? Well, research shows that women are more risk adverse than men. So, translates, if the roads aren't safe, we're not going to be on them. And what is the key way to get more women on the road? It can be said in one phrase: physically protected bike lanes or dedicated roads completely away from drivers. So, case in point, I was bicycling here today from St. John's. I was on Willamette in the bike lane, and I'm always whipping my head like this because there's only a little bit of paint between me and fast-moving traffic, and it's really scary. And a Mack truck came barreling down with most of its wheels over the double line of the bike lane, and I was terrified. That's the kind of thing that keeps women off the road. Like, no way, deal breaker, not gonna happen. So, what I'd like to suggest is, obviously, more physical barriers. That's what's gonna get women on the road. I'd also like to speak to several specific issues that are crucial issues in already created bike infrastructure, but that bike infrastructure is not being used, millions of dollars, because of these issues. You should have all received my list and why there are problems, but I'd like to speak specifically to one of the largest ones, which is I'm up in St. John's. I want to go shopping on 23rd. My chiropractor is on Morrison, and I want to get to the coffee shop on 13, see my friends. So I got to get across that darn Broadway Bridge, and I want to turn onto Broadway, and I've got, when I get off the bridge, 5 lanes of traffic to my left, and I'm supposed to cross in front of them. There's this little bitty light, and it goes on for me to go, and I start going, and all this traffic starts coming directly at me at the same time. Last minute, they curve and go onto Broadway. The first time that happened to me, I was so frightened. I had an out-of-body experience. And this is a core intersection that connects the rest of the city to downtown and the Pearl. I am making an offer to any and all of you that I'd love to take you on a tour of the 4 items I've brought up, and so you can see for yourself what that feels like. But I guarantee, if it's not safe, we're not going to show up. Thank you for letting me be here.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Commissioner Maps has a comment.
Sure. Hi, Rachel. Thank you for your testimony today. I'm the commissioner in charge of PBOT, so the area that we're talking about falls within my portfolio. Very much appreciate your testimony today. I want to reassure you, I agree with you. It's incredibly important that we build a multimodal transportation system that facilitates people getting to go where they want to go, how they want to get there, and bike safety is particularly important in this space. I'll tell you, I got 2 kids, a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old, and they both commute every day on their bikes to make it to and from school. So I have skin in this game and I have kin in this game. I understand why it's important. I also appreciate the very clear suggestions that you have put forward. You said that you sent some documentation to all of us. I'll tell you, somehow I missed that. I did, when I saw you on the agenda, I did try to do a little bit of research to find out what your specific concerns were. I might ask you to connect with my staff right over here, Jackson, just to make sure. It might have gone to someone else in my office and it didn't get to my space. Also, Jackson, who in addition to doing everything in the building, is also one of my transportation experts. He might be able to answer any questions you have, and at the very least, he's a great guy to have his phone number, so you can have someone inside City Hall who can directly engage with you around bike safety issues. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I really hear you saying that you understand and connect. And I also want to point out that men looking at this issue and women looking at this issue are different.
I hear you on that too, and I appreciate you sharing that perspective with this council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day and be safe on the ride home.
I'll do my best.
Thank you. Next individual, please, Keelan, item 495.
Request of Heath Lee to address council regarding discrimination by city bureau. Heath Lee. Doesn't look like they're here.
All right, next individual, please, 496.
Request of John DiLorenzo to address council regarding Joint Office of Homeless Services intergovernmental agreement.
Welcome, John.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Mayor Wheeler and council members. I'm John DiLorenzo, a city resident and an attorney. Last year, I had the pleasure to represent the plaintiffs in the Tozer ADA lawsuit, which resulted in a settlement agreement with the city and benefits for our neighbors with disabilities who can now navigate many city sidewalks. Part of the settlement agreement requires the city to provide us quarterly reports as to its progress. Since July, the city has engaged in over 4,000 encampment removals, which approximate 8,000 to 12,000 tents. The city employs Rapid Response, a biohazard removal company, to perform these removals and has agreed to pay Rapid Response more than $26 million over its 4-year contract through this year. The number of tent removals so far has exceeded the number of houseless persons living on our streets, according to the last point in time count. So where are the tents coming from? They are coming from the Joint Office of Homeless Services. The Joint Office maintains forms like those I have brought with me today that show every checkout of supplies from the warehouse. In his letter of June 4 to the county chair, Commissioner Gonzalez said it remains unclear as to how many tents and tarps have been distributed by the Joint Office, only to be left to the city to clean up. Well, these forms answer that question. Since our settlement agreement last June, the Joint Office has distributed another 6,554 tents and 24,172 tarps. Certain groups and direct recipients have in turn placed these tents and tarps back on our sidewalks and on our neighborhood streets, where the cleanup cycle repeats and millions of more dollars are expended. The county has supplied us an Excel spreadsheet per our public records request, which has allowed us to list by numbers of tents and tarps the particular groups that have been involved in placing them in our neighborhoods. Even your own contractor, Rapid Response, checked out 58 tents and 248 tarps since our agreement, tents and tarps which they arguably were paid to clean up yet again. Your agreement with the joint office requires the county to indemnify you from all expense and costs you incur as a result of the county's actions. At minimum, I believe the costs of the ADA lawsuit, your costs of performing under the settlement agreement, and the tens of millions of dollars you have expended on the impact reduction program should be reimbursed to you by the county due to these policies. And of course, if you truly desire to engage in harm reduction, you should sever your relationship with the joint office altogether and use the $42 million of dues you pay each year to provide a more compassionate response, one that shelters people as opposed to allowing them to languish in the streets. Thank you for your time that you provided me this morning. I'm happy to answer any questions and to supply any of these records, which we just received last Friday, to your clerk so you can see for yourself.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, John. I'd like all of those records. We'd like to see all of it, but I just want to be clear on the numbers you gave us. So what was the settlement date and the period covered for the tents and tarps?
June of, actually May from last year to this May. So it's 1 year's worth of distribution, which amounts to the 24,000 tarps and the 6,554 tents.
And how many did Rapid Response distribute?
Rapid Response checked out, I don't know how many they actually distributed, but they checked out 58 tents from the joint office warehouse and 248 tarps. The records are handwritten, but they're also on an Excel spreadsheet, which the county supplied, and they will list the number of people each day. These are daily sheets and the types of supplies checked out. So the county then takes all that in a spreadsheet. We then took its Excel spreadsheet and produced more records showing the top distributors to the bottom distributors.
Is there any log of who the recipients of the tents and tarps are, or is it only of the entity that's checking them out from the Joint Office on Homelessness?
No, as far as I can tell, there are no procedures which control what the entities do with the tents once they take them out of the warehouse.
Yeah, I guess a question on our side, and I mean that by the city, is just understanding what Rapid Response is doing with those tents and tarps that they're checking out. Do they have a separate contract with the Joint Office on Homelessness, or is it just a contract with the city of Portland?
No, it's yours, and the settlement agreement provides that the city is no longer going to be distributing tents other than under certain circumstances, and there is some wiggle room for that. I'm gonna guess that that Rapid Response checks some of them out so that it can offer tents to people as an inducement for them to leave when they're cleaning up a particular site. But ultimately, Rapid Response is going to have to clean up that site too. And my whole purpose for this presentation is to suggest that there is this incredible dissonance between the city policy and the county policy. The city wants to remove these encampments and funnel people into shelter, which I agree with completely. The county, on the other hand, keeps distributing tents. It's as if you're trying to clean up a water spill and someone won't turn off the faucet. And so all the city is doing is spending more and more money to perform under our settlement agreement, and you're doing a great job, but it's a waste of taxpayer dollars because the county is insistent on passing out more and more tents.
Well, I agree with you. It's a waste of taxpayer money. And you got this most recent set of records on Friday. What's the cadence that you get updated? Is it once a quarter, or is it just you have to make a request and then they respond?
I get updated once a quarter from you as to your performance under the agreement. I have to do public records requests of the county. And so I just filed a public records request several weeks ago and asked for all of the distribution records for the last year since the date of the settlement to the present.
Yeah, I'd submit on our end, it would be helpful if we were getting this kind of information directly from the county on an ongoing basis. Yes, please connect with our team, and I'd like to get the sort of a summary of all of this.
If somebody can give me an email address before I leave, I'll go ahead and email everything.
Nick is right behind you. He'll come up and find you, and we'll connect from there, John.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, that completes communications. Have any items been pulled off the consent agenda?
No items have been pulled.
All right, please call the roll on the consent agenda.
Sir, I pulled 516.
Has 516 been pulled?
Robert, did you contact the council clerk office?
Yeah, I have a copy of that record if you'd like to see it.
I'll defer to legal counsel on the question about whether the item has been pulled.
Would you like to show us that record, sir?
And Robert's 516 you're looking at?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
All right, very good. So that was, just to confirm, that's 516?
Yes.
All right, so 516 has been pulled. Please call the roll on the remainder of the consent agenda.
Ryan,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Naps,
Aye.
Rubio,
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The consent agenda has been adopted. We'll go to the first time certain item, please. Item number 497. This is an emergency ordinance.
Approve the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission FY 2024-25 fund budget.
Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. Colleagues, the city is a member of the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission, or MHCRC, alongside the cities of Gresham, Fairview, Troutdale, Wood Village, and Multnomah County. In 1992, we joined together to form the commission through an intergovernmental agreement, recognizing the economies of scale and negotiating power we have when working together to engage with national cable providers who are looking to use our streets and sidewalks to deliver their for-profit services. The MHCRC is exemplary of a long-standing intergovernmental partnership that has reaped countless benefits for our communities over the years in its pursuit and oversight of communications technology, public benefits, and protections for consumers. As we see the shift from traditional cable TV to internet-enabled video, we see our regulatory authority hamstrung by outdated policy structures. I commend the Commission for its role in continuing to advocate for our communities despite these barriers. What's more, we are at a pivotal time where federal law is so far behind the realities of how video content is delivered and consumed that the city will continue to see a loss in revenue, even though the same providers are providing the same content over the same cable lines. So many of our community-based organizations, schools, library branches, and public agencies benefit from this work, and who in turn support the training and education of our community members in the use of communications technology. I encourage all of you, if you haven't already done so, to read about the impact of MHCRC's grant-making work that's captured in the annual report. Also, if you weren't aware, the City of Portland was a recent beneficiary of an MHCRC grant. With funds awarded to us from the MHCRC grant program, we were able to transition video production services with OpenSignal into this space at the 1900 building for continued live coverage of our city council meetings. At OpenSignal, The capital dollars provided by the commission will continue to operate and maintain the equipment here in the redesigned council chambers at City Hall going forward. So to hear more about this important work, I will turn it over to BPS's interim director, Eric Engstrom.
Good morning, Mayor Wheeler, Commissioners. Thank you for having us here today. For the record, my name is Eric Engstrom. I'm Interim Director at Bureau of Planning and Sustainability. As you just heard, the Mount Hood Regulatory Commission is a product of an intergovernmental agreement. Under the terms of that agreement, the MHCRC transmits its adopted budget each year to the jurisdictions for approval. In addition to your consideration today, we'll be visiting with Troutdale, Wood Village, Gresham, and Fairview, and the county. The Mount Hood Cable operating budget is used to contract for staff and other support services that the City of Portland provides that commission. Each of the participating jurisdictions contribute funding to the operations of the commission through an allocation model. The MHCRC funds an equivalent of approximately 4 FTE in the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability, which serves the commission as administrative staff, including other financial services and administrative costs. The city's allocation is determined through BPS's annual budget process and then also through a special appropriation that goes to the commission. Here with us today are Julia DeGraw and Leslie Goodlow, two of the city's 3 appointees to the commission. I believe they're joining remotely, by the way. We also have staff, Rebecca Gibbons, Douglas Imaralu, and Seema Kumar here to answer any questions. And I believe she's online, so I'll turn it over to Chair DeGraw.
It helps if you unmute. Hello, thank you so much for that introduction. I don't know if I need to do this, but for the record, my name is Julia DeGraw. I'm the chair of the MHCRC and a representative from Portland. So yes, thank you for the opportunity to provide this input today. I believe Commissioner Goodlow was planning on joining by phone. I don't know if she's been able to join us, but hopefully she's here, but I will be the one delivering the message today. So Commissioner Goodlow and myself are 2 of the 3 Portland representatives on the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission. We are here today to seek your approval of the MHCRC fiscal year 24 to 25 budget. Before I review certain elements of the budget, I want to share with you a little bit about myself and the history of the commission. I'm deeply passionate about equitable access to technology, and also really passionate about the opportunity I get through the MHCRC to provide incredible resources to community organizations and groups across the Portland region to do really incredible work. The grant program is just endlessly inspiring and really a joy to get to do, but it's also a really incredible moment, an inflection point really, and how we provide these services to our communities. And I'm really proud and excited to be in this leadership role at this time as we're heading into what will be a challenging transition, but potentially something really, fruitful for our communities if we do this together well. So as some of you may know, Leslie and I were first appointed by the council to serve on the commission in 2022, and Rich Roche, who could not be with us today, was appointed in 2020. It has been an interesting time to serve on the commission, with the pandemic casting a lens on the value and importance of fiber cable connectivity in our communities, and flip-flopping public policy decisions depending on the party in charge in DC, which is really not fun for us, and the continued proliferation of technology and consumption of video content by all of us every day. It's just a really dynamic landscape, and I'm hoping we can all learn how to, adjust to that collectively in a way that best serves our communities. The commission was formed in 1992 by the jurisdictions in the cities of Fairview, Gresham, Portland, Troutdale, Wood Village, and Multnomah County through an intergovernmental agreement to provide oversight, enforcement, and public benefit responsibilities provided by the cable franchises. Cable franchising has and continues to be, despite the drastically changing technology landscape, the only regulatory mechanism by which the local jurisdictions have to negotiate with cable providers over their use of the public right-of-way for delivery of their for-profit services. And federal law, which provides this authority has historically recognized that with right-of-way use, there comes an obligation of the cable company to address local communications technology needs, hence the creation of the commission. The commission, with professional staff support provided by the City of Portland, thank you, keeps tabs on communities' telecommunications needs and interests and negotiates terms and conditions in the franchise agreements to meet those needs. The commission has had great success in fulfilling this duty to their jurisdictions over the years. And as a result of our work, our communities have some of the best public benefit services, not just regionally, but in the country. We have not one, but two community media center, we have two community center media centers, Open Signal in Portland and Metro East Community Media in Gresham, that serve our communities in a multitude of ways. They provide live gavel-to-gavel coverage of our city council and county board meetings, budget hearings, and community engagement sessions. They not only promote civic engagement, but they also create real, accessible, culturally responsive pathways for our community members to engage in civic discourse. They ensure our communities have access to K-12 educational and workforce development opportunities that focus on how to safely and effectively use technology to support household wealth building and social well-being in our digital society and economy. They provide engaging, culturally diverse video content and teach individuals how to use multimedia technology to express themselves. With the resources collected through the franchise agreements and the commission provides, these centers with the operational and capital funding support they need to keep the doors open and provide these unique services to our governments and communities. Open Signal and Metro East have been the backbone of our digital equity efforts for decades, and we've been fierce advocates for this, even as we've seen other communities across the country fall victim to the pressure of industry to walk away from funding and maintaining these resources through cable franchising in their communities. Further, we have been able to support funding technology access and use for technology-based organizations, schools, libraries, and public agencies through the Community Technology Grants Program. The federal policy as federal policy has allowed, we have been progressive in our interpretation of how to leverage the franchise agreements and the funding they provide to support technology use in schools, training in classes, support for teachers, infrastructure build out to support low-cost wide area networks, and internet services to public agencies. Multimedia and video production skill building for, and also multi and video production skill building for budding video artists and more. In addition, we serve as a consumer watchdog to assist cable subscribers with billing and service issues. And we regularly engage in national policy discussions related to cable franchising and local authority to regulate and seek compensation for right-of-way use and protections for consumers. Over the years, we've monitored the changing technology landscape and have been a strong advocate for shifting public policy to support expanding local authority beyond just cable. Because without this shift in policy, we will soon see the same providers accessing the same right-of-way, but without the regulatory protections and public benefit resources we have today. The jurisdictions currently have cable television franchise agreements with Ziply Fiber, which serves the East County cities, and Comcast, which serves countywide. While no official notice has been provided, it's believed that Ziply Fiber will be exiting the cable TV market by the end of the calendar year. They will continue to be a service provider in East County using public right-of-way, but now only as a broadband provider with no public benefit obligations to those communities. The proposed MHCRC fiscal year 24-25 budget anticipates the loss of franchise and PEG fee revenue because of Ziply exiting the cable TV market. Similar to when CenturyLink left the Portland market several years ago, but even more significant is the budget reflects the long-term trends of declining cable subscribers overall, as more and more people receive their media content via the same fiber, but as a broadband service instead of a TV service. It is because of these shifts and their direct impact on the resources going into our community media centers, our grantees and commissioners' operating budget and your general fund, and the commission has hired an experienced consulting team to help us navigate these challenges. Over the next several months, the Next Strategies team will be helping us engage in discussions with elected officials and staff at each of the jurisdictions with community stakeholders to review the current intergovernmental agreement, analyze revenue, technology, and policy trends, and envision what the future might hold. We anticipate bringing forward some of the recommendations we anticipate bringing forward some recommendations on updates to the current intergovernmental agreement and might also gain some clarity about how we can work together to best position the communities for our technology future. So now we turn to the business at hand. The MHCRC proposed fiscal year 24-25 fund budget is on page 6 of the budget document included in your meeting packet, along with our annual report and goals and objectives for this coming year. The commission voted unanimously to recommend approval for the fiscal year 24-25 budget at our meeting on May 20th. Nearly all of MHCRC's resources are funds collected from the cable companies, and the expenditures are the disbursement of those funds to the member jurisdictions and community media centers and the community technology grants recipients. The city is projected to collect about 4.3 million in franchise fees next year, resources that support the city's general fund. The projection is about $450,000 less than we anticipate receiving this year. Through the intergovernmental agreement, each jurisdiction agrees to fund a portion of the MHCRC's operating budget. The city's allocation to the commission operating budget for fiscal year 24-25 is $345,600. Combined with contributions from the other jurisdictions, the total operating budget is $531,711, used primarily to support our professional level staff. Our staff are tasked with advocating for local right-of-way control over telecommunications services and public benefit programs, conducting cable franchise agreement compliance, fielding consumer complaints, overseeing the commission meetings and finances, and implementing public benefit programs such as the grant programs that support technology usage in schools, community nonprofits, and our 2 community media centers, Metro East Community Media and Open Signal. As revenues decline, the commission is relying on reserve and interest funds to supplement the budget to maintain current service levels. And finally, the commission anticipates awarding $1 million in community technology grants this coming year. The commission is in the process of awarding close to $2 million in grants this year, and a summary of the grants awarded in fiscal year 22-23 is included in our annual report. In general, the grant projects focus on the use of media creation tools to produce video content that addresses disparities, raises awareness and understanding of the different cultures, and increases civic participation. That concludes the presentation for tonight, or for this morning, actually. We are happy to answer any questions and thank the council for your ongoing support and consideration of the budget this morning.
Great, thank you. Colleagues, any questions at this point? Keelan, do we have public testimony?
No one signed up.
All right, this is an emergency ordinance. Please call the roll.
Ryan,
Thank you, Chair Julia DeGraw. You are the right fit at the right time. That was a great presentation. I vote aye.
Gonzalez,
Vote aye.
Maps,
Aye.
Rubio.
Thank you, Julia, for the great presentation, for your leadership, and thank you also to Leslie and Richard for their service as well. We appreciate this great work. I vote aye.
Wheeler,
Good presentation, thank you. Thanks, Commissioner Rubio. I vote aye, and the ordinance is adopted. Next item, please, 498, a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance.
authorize competitive solicitation in support of the Portland Clean Energy Community Benefits Fund's Climate Investment Plan, Strategic Program 10, Community-Based Organization Capacity Building Program not to exceed $2,500,000 over 5 years.
Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. Colleagues, this is going to sound familiar, but I'll say it again because it's important. In November of 2018, more than 65% of Portlanders voted in favor of the Portland Clean Energy Community Benefits Initiative. The direction from our community was clear, establishing a fund source specifically dedicated to ensuring our climate action efforts also support social, economic, and environmental benefits for all Portlanders, particularly those that have been historically left behind. Since then, PSEF has implemented multiple rounds of community-responsive grants, launched the Cooling Portland program, and has diligently begun implementing.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Rubio. We're ahead of schedule on this item. so
Okay.
I should not have called it. We'll
General item.
stop and we'll move on to the next item. Do we have everybody we need for the proclamation?
Nothing for either of the proclamations.
All right, to the regular agenda. If I can avoid a break, I'd like to do that.
Maybe I'll put out an, over the mic, I'll ask if my team is ready to move forward with the item that's been pulled. I think we have, I think we're going to have a presentation on that. Are we ready? I don't have Jackson. in
I
the
don't
room.
think Robert is here, the person who pulled the item.
Okay, hang on.
In the hallway?
How about, it's like a game of fish. The resolution 520, do we have everybody who we need here?
521, I see Jess Klein is on.
All right,
Jess might.
Jess, can you do 521? Do you have everybody you need for your report?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go ahead and do that. Please read item number 521. It's a report.
Accept recommendation of Chief Procurement Officer to award on-call price agreements for green stormwater infrastructure maintenance and irrigation services.
Colleagues, this report authorizes price agreements for on-call to support the Bureau of Environmental Services work to maintain more than 2,500 Green Street stormwater facilities and 150 vegetated regional water quality facilities. Procurement Manager Jess Klein is with us to present the report. Welcome.
Good morning. For the record, my name is Jess Klein. I am Goods and Services Procurement Manager. On November 8th, 2023, Council approved ordinance number 191516 for procurement services to competitively solicit for price agreements for on-call green stormwater infrastructure maintenance and irrigation services for $12 million over 5 years in accordance with PCC 5.33. The Chief Procurement Officer has advertised and received proposals for RFP 2223 on behalf of the Bureau of Environmental Services with an overall not to exceed of $12 million over 5 years. Proposals were opened on January 22nd, 2024, and 9 proposals were received from firms with the capacity for maintenance, irrigation, or both. The evaluation committee reviewed and scored all responsive proposals and made multiple price agreement awards to the firms who submitted the most advantageous proposals in accordance with the process outlined in the RFP. No protests or comments were received. The firms that are awarded are available via the report. There are a number of firms, so I'm going to not list all of them, but there are a number of firms. The awards are range from $400,000 to 1.5 or $1.75 million for a total of a not to exceed of $12 million. Procurement Services recommends that Council accept this report and authorize the Chief Procurement Officer to execute price agreements with the awarded contractors. If you have any questions, I am here available. I also have Ryan DeRocher with BES.
Great, thank you, Jess and Ryan. Colleagues, any questions at this point? Do we have public testimony on this item?
No one signed
It's
up.
a report. I'll entertain a motion to accept it.
So moved.
Commissioner Maps moves, Commissioner Gonzalez seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan?
Yes, thank you so much for the report. I should have asked this question, but I'll just make a comment that we really try to focus on COVID equity within that, those awards. And I understand there's no COVID thresholds with contracts for goods and services that are before us today. So I hope that we can take that down to that level, like we've been doing with contracting. That said, I will support this today. I vote aye.
Gonzalez? Maps?
I want to thank the mayor's team and OMF for their support in getting this important work done. This is in the BES space. I also want to acknowledge especially my teams who are unionized, who have urged me to explore making these folks permanent employees. That remains an ambition of mine. I'll just tell you the truth. This fiscal year, I was not able to afford to do that. However, moving forward, that remains my North Star in this space. With that said, I vote aye.
Rubio?
Aye.
Wheeler?
All right, the report is accepted. And Jess, I understand you have everything you need for 523, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and move forward to 523, first reading of a non-emergency ordinance.
amend price agreements with Interlaken Incorporated, Titan Utilities, and Iron Horse Excavation LLC, DBA Oxbow Construction for $1,500,000 per agreement to provide additional construction services.
Colleagues, the Bureau of Environmental Services is requesting to amend 3 existing price agreements to increase compensation to fund additional services. Procurement Manager Jess Klein is, of course, with us to present the report, and it's actually an ordinance.
All right. Good morning again. For the record, my name is Jess Klein, Procurement Manager. With me this morning is Darren Wilson, Engineering Supervisor with the Bureau of Environmental Services. We are here to recommend authorization to renew price agreements for on-call construction services at the Columbia Boulevard Wastewater Treatment Plant, Tryon Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant, and associated pump stations. Council passed Ordinance 190487 on July 7th, 2021, authorizing an exemption from the low bid procurement method and for the Chief Procurement Officer to conduct a request for proposal solicitation process to competitively solicit, enter into, and execute up to 3 price agreements valued at $3 million each for an initial 2-year term. Authority was also granted in Ordinance 190487 to amend these price agreements and extend them for an additional 3 years at an amount not to exceed $1.5 million each for each consecutive 1-year term, provided the amendments to the price agreements are approved by council. Ongoing construction services are required, and we recommend that price agreements number 31002237, 31002238, and 31002239 with Interlaken Inc., Titan Utilities, and Iron Horse Excavation LLC, DBA Oxbow Construction, be amended to increase the compensation by $1.5 million and extend the expiration date to July 1st, 2025. Darren has a brief presentation to the performance and benefits of these contracts that he will now share.
So again, for the record, my name is Darren Wilson, Engineering Supervisor with BES Engineering Services. So these price agreements, as Jess mentioned, are for us to be able to do on-call construction services at Columbia Boulevard Wastewater Treatment Plant, Tryon Creek, and also the associated pump stations. So we are asking to renew these 3 price agreement contracts to help us implement our capital improvement program. And the task orders are the maximum task order amount based on the not to exceed estimates is $1 million. And what we have found is that the key benefits of this program is that we can move very quickly from 100% design documents to notice to proceed to begin construction work in about 6 weeks. During this process, the contractors team up with us and they're able to do constructability reviews during the design phase, which helps us with constructability, material selection, and equipment specifications. Another key benefit of this program is to help us increase our COVID subcontractor utilization as well as apprenticeship goals. And so this renewal is actually for the second phase of our price agreement contracts for construction. The first ones were actually executed in 2018. And those task orders, the last ones were issued about 4 years later in 22. And then as Jess mentioned, these new contracts were signed back in July of 22. Whoops, sorry. Of our 3 contractors that have these price agreements, all 3 of them are COVID certified. One is classified as emerging small business. The other 2 are women-owned businesses. And so I'll just let you know that due to some of the uncertainty of when the new price agreements would be implemented, there was a little bit of a lag in actually implementing the task order process on projects for us. So we had a little lag. The first task orders were not actually issued until August of 23, about a year later. We also have 3 others that are in construction right now. So of the 4 task orders issued on the current contracts to date, we're moving from 100% design to notice to proceed in 6.5 weeks. One of those task order projects has actually been completed. It came in at 86% of the not to exceed estimate, which I think is a good indication that, we're pricing these accordingly, but we're allowing for enough maximum cost to be able to implement the projects appropriately. And so the first one was Ankeny Ankeny Pump Station seal water replacement, where our COVID participation was 34% and apprenticeship hours were 22%. So again, I think that's an indication of the success of the goals of this program. We have 3 other task orders issued that are in construction right now for almost $750,000. And then we have almost $4 million in pending task orders that contractors are pricing right now, or at least are close to being able to start pricing. And this is the list of those 9. So as just mentioned, the price agreement contracts are $9 million total over 2 years. It's $3 million per contractor, or $1.5 million per year. So total to date of complete projects in process or pending, my apologies, is almost $5 million. And so we are averaging about $1.5 million per year per contractor each. And so again, that's where the forecast of upcoming projects is also about $1.5 million per year per contractor. So the amendment request is specifically then to add 1 more year pursuant to the original ordinance on these contracts and adding $1.5 million to each contract. And so just real briefly, this is sort of a rough schedule. It shows the initial 2-year period. We're now requesting an amendment for 1 additional year, and then there remains the option for another 1-year extension as well as part of the original ordinance. So with that, that concludes my brief presentation. I'll be more than happy to try to answer any questions.
Very good. Colleagues, any questions? Do we have public testimony?
No one signed up.
All right, this is the first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. Commissioner Rubio, we can now go back to item number 498. You can pick it up wherever you'd like.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just start let's see. So in November of 2018, more than 65% of Portlanders voted in favor of the Portland Clean Energy Community Benefits Initiative. The direction from the community was clear: establishing a fund source specifically dedicated to ensuring our climate action efforts also support social, economic, environmental benefits for all Portlanders, particularly those who have been historically left behind. Since then, PSEF has implemented multiple rounds of community responsive grants, launched the Cooling Portland program, and has diligently begun implementing the climate investment plan that this council unanimously adopted in September of 2023. The ordinance before us today is just one of many actions that this body will take as a part of implementing the climate investment plan. Today's ordinance will allow PSEF staff to release a competitive solicitation following procurement services processes to contract with businesses to deliver organizational capacity building support to PSEF-funded community-based organizations, or CBOs. This will involve providing critical organizational development technical assistance, such as financial management training. CBOs play a pivotal role in addressing climate change while providing important community benefits to Portlanders and are already doing incredible work. Yet we understand that for these organizations to have the greatest impact, they must have the necessary capacity to operate efficiently and effectively. That's why this ordinance is so important. Supporting the organizational capacity for PSEF grantees has a domino effect of additional positive outcomes. It increases their ability to take on the challenges of addressing the urgent need to lower GHG emissions. It helps ensure these organizations can hire and retain talented, skilled, and diverse workforce to better deliver services to communities in need. It increases their ability to be better stewards of public financing or funding through improved financial management practices. I look forward to hearing from PSEF staff today and invited speakers here with us. With that, I will turn it over to BPS Interim Director Eric Engstrom.
Morning.
Thank you again. Again, for the record, my name is Eric Kingstrom. I'm Interim Director at the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability. As the Commissioner gave you most of the context, I'll be brief here. As she mentioned, we're asking you to authorize PSEF to seek proposals to support Strategic Program 10, which is community-based organizational capacity building. This is a funding category that will support community-based organizations to scale up their climate program delivery. That includes, as the Commissioner mentioned, resources for training, technical assistance, consultation, organizational development, and more. Our next step with your approval will be to work collaboratively with procurement to initiate an RFP process. And as the Commissioner shared, this program was included in the adopted CIP, which you approved last year. And with that, I'll turn it over to PSEF Program Manager Sam Barrasso.
Okay, good morning, Commissioners, Mayor Wheeler, Commissioners. It's good to be here before you all today. As you're going to see, this is going to start to feel repetitive, and I think that's a good thing. Let's go to the next slide. All right, so again, we're going to just do a really brief background of the Climate Investment Plan, how we got there, and where this particular RFP that we intend to solicit proposals for sits within the plan. We'll talk about just how we, how we implement the plan and how this fits within that again, and then we'll move into the specific program itself, the Capacity Building Program, Strategic Program 10, with Angela Previdelli here, our lead program lead there. We'll give an overview of the program, the structure, the program goals and metrics before we dive into a little bit of the next steps, and then turn it over to a couple of our invited speakers, and then turn it back to you all for questions and answers. Next slide. Okay, so again, this is just another step as we implement our climate investment plan, and this, like many of our programs, have been iteratively adapted in response to a lot of stakeholder feedback, comparing other programs that are similarly or providing complementary services. Specifically, Strategic Program 10, it's our capacity building program. It is about bringing extra support and resources to PSEF-funded community-based organizations that are working to advance the city's climate goals. Collectively, as you'll see in the next couple slides, we've got a lot of work to, and that means that we need all hands on deck, and we need to make sure that that infrastructure is robust, and that's what this program is there to do. And then most specifically, this ordinance that we're going to be previewing for you all today is to ask you all to authorize a $2.5 million competitive solicitation through procurement services, but this is just our first reading, so we'll be looking for you all to take action next week. Next slide. Okay, Climate Investment Plan. Again, this is the structure for how we invest our resources. All of our resources are outlined and allocated within, and our programming is outlined within the Climate Investment Plan. And so that is what we continue to implement here. Next slide. Now, the Climate Investment Plan is a product of numerous roundtables, panels, technical experts, community input, PSEF committee briefings along the way, and it took about 9 months to develop before we brought it to you all. One of the core elements of the plan, of one of the roundtables, was work with our community-based organizations to see what were the core needs that we needed to invest in our community-based organizations' infrastructure to make sure that we are diligently and efficiently implementing our projects, and that's how this program came to be. Next slide. And this is just to illustrate the scale of the work that's going to be done. You are going to continue to see the growth, the acceleration and pace and the scale of implementation that's happening both within our private sector as well as our community-based organizations. And that is critical because the collective need is well over 50 billion. When we talk about our priority populations, then the need is 18 billion. When we think about specifically the things that PSEF would tackle, and then within our climate investment plan, the investment was set out to be 750 million. So there's a lot of need, a lot of work that's going to happen, and a lot of collective capacity growth that's going to need to happen both in our private sector as well as in our nonprofit sector. Next slide. And this allocation sits when that bucket there in the bottom right-hand corner. Across the plan itself, a vast majority of our resources are obviously going towards the renewable energy, energy efficiency, transportation decarbonization, green infrastructure, workforce development, regenerative agriculture, and then we do have the set aside that was explicitly called out, and that's that 2% focus on capacity building. And that was in response to our audit back in March of 2022 to be explicit around how we were investing around capacity building. Next slide. And then last, this, as part of implementing the plan, we've got grants, we've got requests for proposals, intergovernmental agreements, interagency agreements, and this falls within that middle category, the request for proposals. And you'll see us come before you all in a couple weeks for Strategic Program 6, focused on our e-bike program. All right, next slide. And this is just another visual and a timeline. And so, again, a couple weeks, you'll see us come before you all again. And then later this summer, you'll see us come before you all for our community responsive grants, as well as some of our other programming further down the road. Next slide. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Angela Prevedelli, who's been the brains behind this whole entire operation, and speak to the capacity building program. And she's our capacity building program lead, and I think you'll get a wonderful overview of how this work weaves together with our other work. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sam. Mayor Wheeler, commissioners, good morning. Thank you for having us here. For the record, my name is Angela Prevedelli, and I am the PCEF Capacity Building Program Lead. Next slide. So before jumping into the specifics of the ordinance request for today, I wanted to give you a little context. So PCEF's Capacity Building Program has three main components. There's the mini grants program. This is a quarterly grant opportunity that provides up to $5,000 for small events, projects, and some organizational development needs, such as grant writing support. This grant has been up and running since 2021, and to date has awarded over 100 grants. The next component is the capacity building cohort. So this is a new program that was approved with the Climate Investment Plan, and we plan to launch it later this year. Over the next 5 years, we will select 16 to 20 organizations that will participate in an intensive capacity building process. They'll receive expert support services and resources, complete in-depth assessments, participate in cohort convenings and peer-to-peer learning, along with other learning opportunities. We'll be coming back to you later in the year with an ordinance to actually approve the CBOs that we select to participate in that program, so you'll hear more about that part of the program at that time. Today's ordinance is focused just on the competitive solicitation for the service providers who will be in support of the organizations participating in the cohort. The third component of the capacity building program is that we will be providing those capacity building services as needed to other CBOs who are recipients of our grants through our Community Responsive Grants program. So those services will be selective and targeted and will help ensure that those grantees are receiving the support they need to be as successful as possible in their climate projects. What's consistent throughout all of the capacity building program elements is that all of the CBOs who would be receiving capacity building services are working on climate projects. Supporting their capacity means supporting greater climate impacts in our communities. Next slide. All right, so now we can jump a little bit into the weeds. This is the program structure. PCEF staff will be managing this program directly. Staff will be working with the CBOs to identify their capacity needs. We'll be managing the contractors, providing grantee support, coordinating convenings, and along the way, track all of the program and grantee performance. Today's ordinance is specifically focused on that section that's highlighted in yellow there, the contracted service providers. The ordinance will authorize the competitive solicitation that will release through procurement services. Having these contractors on board is a core part for us to roll out the capacity building cohort program. You'll find a detailed description of the services in the supplemental attachment that's part of the ordinance packet, but just to review here at a high level, the service categories that these providers will be covering includes financial management, board and executive leadership development, strategic planning, technology and data management, reporting, metrics and performance outcomes, human resources, and project development and management. Next slide. Okay, so as I'm wrapping up this part of the presentation, I wanted to review the central goals. Over the next 5 years, we aim to support PCEF-funded CBOs to enhance their operational effectiveness and financial management, strengthen their overall organizational capacity, and ultimately, and most importantly, our goal is to have PCEF-funded CBOs be better positioned to champion community-led greenhouse gas reduction and sequestration projects that benefit Portlanders. We know that measuring impact and performance in a capacity building program is super important. We're currently working with PSU's Center for Public Service to develop an organizational development assessment along with program metrics to clearly report on our outcomes and impact. As a final thought, before I hand it back over, and as Commissioner Rubio said in our introduction, supporting the organizational capacity of PSEF-funded CBOs has compounding benefits. It supports organizations to be able to operate most effectively in their climate projects, which ultimately allows them to serve a greater number of Portlanders and have greater GHG reductions in our region, helping the city to achieve its climate goals. And with that, I'll hand it back to Sam.
Thank you. Next slide. So apologies, I misspoke there. Our second reading is a couple weeks from now on June 26th. And so again, that is authorizing us to go out for a competitive solicitation. And then we will come back to you all on the other side, similar as you've heard earlier this morning, with the report to accept whomever are the ultimate awardees of that contract. With that, I want to turn it to our next slide, bring on our invited speakers, and then turn it to you all for questions that you may have for us and our invited speakers. So first up, we have Robin Wang, who is an Impact Finance and Climate Fund consultant, and also, fortunately, a PSEF committee member. I will also invite up at the same time Dr. Rafiel Wasif, who is an assistant professor of public administration at Portland State University and currently serving as the associate director of PSU's Nonprofit Institute. Robin.
Good morning, Mayor Wheeler, City Commissioners. For the record, my name is Robin Wang. I'm a PSEF committee member, and it's an honor to be here before you again. It's my third or fourth time here. I'm also a former small business owner, a nonprofit executive director, and currently I provide finance and capital consulting to nonprofits, foundations, and small businesses. Today, I'm here to talk a little bit about capacity building. People often struggle with capacity building and what it really does. Whereas if you invested $10 million into some social service initiative, you know you're going to be benefiting X number of people. If you're going to invest in affordable housing, you know that you're going to be able to build X units. And even with PSEF, you know you'll be able to reduce X tons of greenhouse gas emissions. And in every case, the impact of these investments are quantifiable and they're external to the organization. This is not the case with capacity building, and furthermore, it could mean different things to different organizations. For one organization, it could be some IT investment. For another, it may be developing staff and management skills or bringing in knowledge into the organization. And for another, it maybe entails augmenting their their community engagement capabilities. And not only is the impact harder to quantify, but the impact is directed inwards to the organization. And for this reason, sometimes capacity building investments are viewed with suspicion. Yet in the for-profit world, capacity building investments happen all the time, and it's even celebrated. It's called venture capital. Take a look at Salt and Straw. I'm sure we all know what they do. They didn't grow from their first scoop of ice cream to now 50 stores across the country without venture capital or without capacity building. Millions of dollars of venture capital were invested into Salt and Straw so that they can scale their operations, expand their sales and outreach and marketing, and equip their staff and leadership with the skills to not only grow their organization, but also to effectively manage a larger organization. In essence, venture capital built their capacity to serve their deliciousness across the country. Portlanders overwhelmingly voted for PSEF to address climate needs for frontline communities. To best accomplish this, it is necessary to fund the CBOs embedded in those communities as they have the relationships and trust together with a deep understanding of their climate needs, priorities, and how best to deliver the co-benefits that are part of the PSEF promise. Unfortunately, many of these organizations never received, whether it's due to discrimination, lack of access to wealth, or just cultural biases, the types of capacity building investments that Salt and Straw received. Without these investments, how can we expect CBOs to grow and scale their climate impact? Strategic Program 10 offers an opportunity to address two needs. First, it provides a capacity building investments that allow CBOs to better deploy and steward PSEF funds and thus amplify their impact of climate in their communities. And secondly, allows us to begin addressing the historic disinvestment in frontline organizations and position them to serve their communities in other capacities through other funding, which, in my opinion, is the biggest co-benefit of this strategic program. For these reasons, I urge you to approve Strategic Program 10. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Rafael Vasev, and I'm an assistant professor of public administration at Portland State University and the associate director of the Nonprofit Institute. I'm here to emphasize the importance of capacity building for community-based organizations, particularly those working in marginalized communities. The National Council of Nonprofits defines nonprofit capacity building as whatever is needed to bring a nonprofit to the next level of operational and organizational maturity so it is more effective and efficient. This concept is critical for our community-based organizations, which play a pivotal role in addressing unique challenges and needs within our diverse communities. When capacity building is successful, it strengthens the nonprofit's ability to deliver on its mission over time and enhancing its effect on lived communities. Let's focus on key 4 benefits of capacity building. First is enhanced service delivery. Supporting the development of community-based organizations improves their ability to deliver vital services. Well-developed organizations can plan, implement, and evaluate their programs more precisely. By enhancing their operational capability, we ensure these organizations can meet the specific needs of our communities. Secondly, it helps in building their sustainability and resilience. Supporting the development of community-based organizations directly improves the sustainability and resilience of community-based organizations. By building robust structures and governance strategies, these organizations can better withstand economic challenges. This resilience ensures that they continue to serve our community for a long time and ensures their sustainability. The third really important part of community building is the community empowerment aspect. Community-based organizations play a crucial role in empowering minority communities by giving voice to local needs and concerns. Strengthening these organizations enable them to advocate more effectively for their communities, fostering greater civic participation and social cohesion. Empowered communities are more engaged, vibrant, and capable of driving positive changes. Supporting community-based organizations is a direct investment in the empowerment and activation of our local populations. And the last part I'll talk about is accountability. Organizational development emphasizes monitoring, evaluation, and accountability. This ensures that community-based organizations can measure their impact better, learn from their experiences, and demonstrate their effectiveness to stakeholders. So to conclude, by focusing on these points, we can see that supporting the organizational development of community-based organizations is not just beneficial, but essential. It leads to a stronger, more resilient, and more empowered community, creating a positive cycle of growth and development. Supporting these organizations is an investment in the strength and vitality of our city. Let's prioritize the development of these essential community pillars to ensure a thriving and resilient and inclusive community for all in Portland. Thank you.
That concludes our invited testimony.
Very good. Does that conclude your presentation?
Correct, Mayor.
Before I ask my colleagues if they have questions, do we have public testimony on this item?
No one signed up.
Colleagues' questions? Commissioner Ryan.
That was a great presentation. Thank you, Commissioner Rubio and Director Engstrom and Angela and Sam. And the testimony was amazing by you, Robin and Dr. Wasif. Couple questions just to go further. First of all, I've had lived experience with this. I took over an organization that received a really ginormous gift a couple years prior to me taking over. It was like 10 times the amount of their operating budget. And they didn't have the infrastructure to manage that. So it basically put them into the red. And I think a lot of people, that doesn't seem intuitive, but there's restricted gifts that are large, and then there was nothing in the capacity building. So simply put, you all understand this, they didn't have the right accounting systems. They didn't have the right financial systems and data measurement systems. So they were constantly being scolded by this donor. And so I've spoke truth to power to large foundations that they need to do this because they're actually putting some nonprofits out of business by not thinking that through. So anyway, that's why I'm so excited about this. And I thought I'd share with my colleagues why I'm so excited, because when you experience something like this firsthand and you have to beg a large national foundation to not put you out of commission because they actually did it to you, you'll never forget those conversations, and they are risky to have. So to see this on the front end is great. A couple questions. Another thing that I think is important, of course, is to make sure we have continuous improvement experts that can help with this. So, and I don't mean that you do exactly like the aerospace industry or Six Sigma, like you have to translate it so it makes sense. I think we spend too much time trying to get people to drink the Kool-Aid perfectly when it should just be about results-based facilitation and meetings that have data, and you're constantly looking at the metrics and what the impacts are, and really look at the sub-indicators, which are way more important than the big ones up here, which is like watching paint dry. So I hope that those investments would be part of this. The other is, doesn't get talked about enough, is these are big gifts, and we're starting some organizations are really taking them to another level. And it's not sustainable to think government will be their only donor. So what kind of guidelines we have, incentives we have, even if it's not a lot, just to get more private gifts from the individuals, corporations, foundations on the local level to complement the gifts coming from PSEF. I just think that's really important. Have you had conversations about that?
Yeah, that's absolutely. It's something we've been cognizant too, and I think a core part of some of the consultants and whatnot that we plan to bring on is to help organizations think through that broader arc of recognizing we are but one funding source, and that diversifying their funding sources and that planning and that strategic planning, because oftentimes you see resources out there and folks can kind of like a mosquito to a light go right towards it, and really making sure that organizations are clear about their planning around where PSEF fits into that organization and how other funding sources are critical to make sure they're shored up and not solely relying on us. So I'll turn to Angela if she has anything more to add, but I think at a high level, that's what I'd share.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The idea in shoring up that foundation is that it's going to be less trying to fill constant gaps and trying to go after the money, and having that ability to really invest in long-term strategic planning so that they're thinking well ahead and they have a diversified portfolio of funds, and that they're not put into that place of really dire circumstances when it comes to their budget, and then they're going for the next thing that's available. We really want, especially for the PSEF funding, for it to be the organizations coming to it at the right time with the right intentions and the right goals in place to be really successful with what they implement on the ground.
And I do think these large investments should be at least 5 to 7 years so that it can actually be an impact. And again, if you're doing the continuous improvement work in the right capacity building, then that can happen. And I really appreciate that you brought up, I think it was you, Robin, in the private sector. It was actually the board members that were from the private sector. Once I'd explain this is like R&D, if you will, and then they would be like, oh yeah, nonprofits need that as well. But it just took that dialogue. Then they were the biggest advocates for this investment within our budget. So I'm happy to hear that we'll have those thresholds. I think giving a gift the second time, say 5 to 10 years later, and if they haven't demonstrated they're building a donor base beyond the city, I would personally not want to recommend that they would get funding in the future. So thank you so much.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yeah, I just want to echo Commissioner Ryan's point about demonstrating a diversity of revenue streams. One, I appreciate the analogy in the private sector, both to venture and to angel investment. One difference, though, is that angel funds, venture funds are assessed in some ways on their ability to incubate businesses to a certain size and exit. And there's sort of an objective assessment, how many companies did you take to series whatever? And then I'm not sure we naturally have the same sort of parallel outcomes that we can point to, at least, I think we should all think about that a little bit, but it ties then, what should the long-term metrics be for our city's investment in this program? How do we know 5 years? I'm not talking about PSEF overall, specifically in this area, capacity building, because there's sometimes rightfully, sometimes wrongfully, cynicism around capacity building. People just assume you're paying for overhead in an organization, you're just paying for executive director salaries. That actually doesn't look like what you're doing here. There's an RFP for someone to come work with the city and to work with the CBOs to build out the capacity. So a lot of it looks good, but there's can be a natural cynicism there. And so it's just, so that's just the question. How do we, know 5 years from now that the city has received benefits here, given the unique reality that there's a government support of CBOs. And again, I would start with Commissioner Ryan's suggestion, just demonstrating diversity of funding sources at some point. But what else are you thinking in terms of, medium-term, longer-term metrics on this investment?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And that's why the very first step that has already gone underway is we issued an IGA to work with the PSU Center for Public Service for Dr. Wasif's colleagues on exactly developing really robust program and grantee metrics that we'll be using to track all of that. So that work is underway right now. We're working with some professors and doctoral students right now on developing that, which one of the key elements that includes is an organizational development assessment. So that's going to be an assessment that's going to be used throughout the duration of their participation in the capacity building program. So we'll be able to really see and measure over time on a whole series of categories where they're at, what their needs are, what they're demonstrating. We're going to be collecting a lot of data over that, and that data will not only help with our transparency, but also help with identifying their needs and making sure that the resources are going to where they really need to go. So totally hear you on that, and to also Robin's point on how difficult it can be to capture and measure these things. That's why we're starting right out the gate of going to the experts and making sure we have a really robust metric system to be able to report back on that. So you'll hear about it in more detail once that work is completed.
And so I'm just kind of envisioning what you just described, so likely looking at some sort of scorecard that you can sort of track progress over time for each CBO, with these being sort of the different categories. Well, that makes sense. And I think the last piece in thinking about how you would grow organizations, nonprofit or for-profit, is you have your inputs, which a lot of these things are, right? These are the necessary ingredients to scale an organization that we found over time. The ultimate test, though, of an organization is whether you're satisfying customers or you're meeting a communal need. And that's really the outputs we're looking for any of these organizations we're supporting. So I would just also call that out as we're thinking about how we assess over the medium, long term. The scorecards for inputs are what you can control now.
Yeah.
But the goal is to a societal output that does not involve spilling coffee on your pants. I'll leave it at that. So I just look forward to seeing how this evolves. Thank you.
And I'll just make a quick note that part of that work that we're doing with PSU also includes our PSEF data analyst. And so we're making sure to create a lot of connection between all of our other reporting and data collection that we do on all of our implementation grants with those organizations, and making sure that there's linkages between what we're tracking in capacity building and what we're tracking with their outcomes on the ground.
Got it. Thank you.
Great. I'll just put my 2 cents in. First of all, thank you for the presentation, and I particularly appreciate our guest testimony. And I'm very pleased to hear the Portland State University is heavily engaged in this through the Nonprofit Institute. I think that's fantastic, and it bodes well for the success of this effort. My first point is, of course, I will support this when it does come to a vote on its second reading. This is, I think, exactly in alignment with what the voters supported. It was fairly explicit from my perspective in the ballot measure language, and I feel that you've been faithful to that ballot measure language. I'll also put a cautionary note out there, and maybe it rings a little bit in alignment with what my colleagues have said, which is Portland is a very nonprofit-centric town. And I am concerned that creating and sustaining a nonprofit organization is becoming a prerequisite for advocacy. And I want to make it clear that what we should be doing is teaching people in this community and empowering people in this community to advocate whether or not there is a nonprofit organization out there doing it on the payroll. For example, today we had the microphones open for people to come in and testify publicly, and half the people didn't show up. This is an opportunity that's available each and every time we meet as a city council for our Wednesday morning meetings. And so that there is community outreach that can happen that maybe is more organic, that's not necessarily predicated upon an executive director, a board of directors, and a legal structure, and then the withering and very difficult need in this community to then support it financially. And I share the concern of my colleagues that in a city that has a lot of nonprofit organizations, frankly, many of which are highly duplicative in terms of the work that they do, supporting their own staff and infrastructure. In this city, we actually have a fairly limited philanthropic base. And what we're seeing is government is becoming the de facto philanthropy, the largest foundation, if you will, in the community. And that's not necessarily a good thing, because government is capricious. Government moves with political winds. And so I think what the public did here by empowering the Clean Energy Fund to do this work independently, I think that shows promise. And I appreciate that we have this partnership now where we're going to work together and we're going to express our opinions and we're going to hold each other accountable for what is in that ballot language. So long way of saying thank you. I still have that nagging concern about the overbearing status of nonprofits relative to simply empowering the public to be able to shape the government that they own and the community which they are part of, which is their community. And I'd like us to really stay focused on that at the street level, if we can, as we go forward together in this great opportunity that's before us. Thank you. This is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. Thank you all. Thank you. All right. And it's 10:52. We now can do the proclamation. Keelan, can you please read item 499? Commissioner Maps?
Do we have our presenters in the room? I'm not seeing. Is Taisha here? Oh, there you go. I didn't see you over there in the corner. I apologize.
I was hiding a little bit.
499, please. A proclamation.
Proclaim June 19, 2024 to be Juneteenth.
Colleagues, our next item is a proclamation honoring Juneteenth, which is next Wednesday, June 19th. First, I'll pass to Commissioner Maps for opening remarks. Commissioner Maps.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have some thoughts that I suspect I will want to share before the day is done, but we have a presentation from CAN first. So what I think I'll do is just turn the floor over to our friend and colleague, Taisha, who will kick us off.
Very good. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning. Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Council, colleagues, community members. I'm Taisha McCool-Riley. I am the city's mental health program specialist. I'm currently housed in Civic Life, transitioning to BHR effective July 1st. But I'm here today representing CAN Leadership, the City African American Network Employee Resource Group. And we really gather to consider how do we create more inclusive, safe, supportive spaces for the Black employees at the City of Portland. How do we hear their voices? How do we share their voices? And how do we build them up and empower them? And so today I'll start off with some words, and then my colleagues will join us virtually and read the proclamation for us. Sometimes we enter into spaces and places merely as a formality, lacking the commitment, endurance, and wherewithal to push through, to develop and modify policy and systemic change that would align with the grit, grind, and courageous efforts of our ancestors. They were on a mission and made so much progress, but as we are all to reflect, we are witnessing regression instead of progression on many levels. As I sit here today as a Black woman who also works within government and uses my voice to advocate and empower my colleagues and those in my community with knowledge and understanding about mental health and well-being. I am a true testament to the residual effects of those who came before me, who had to fight literally for their lives to achieve what should have been freely, rightfully, and willingly given to them. My ancestors are true trailblazers, setting fire to restrictions and bondage. Too often we can be found sensationalizing words like equity, inclusion, diversity, and changing the system with little to no movement or authentic grassroots efforts. Let's not continue to engage in the formalities of speaking to injustices without commitment, passion, determination, and sacrifice to follow through, no matter the consequences, to achieve freedom. We cannot afford to remain silent, passive, afraid, and unwilling to think outside of ourselves. Juneteenth is rooted in freedom, liberation, and unity. I can speak to the modern day imprisonment of African Americans with very few standing on the business to dismantle racism. And I'll pause really quick. My kids taught me this term, standing on business. Apparently, it's really popular these days. And it really essentially means that it's non-negotiable. I said what I said. I meant what I said. I'm going to stand behind something. I'm not going to waver. I'm not going to hide. I am going to stand firm. We as a people are entitled to freedom to be our authentic selves, freedom to show up and bring our voice to the table and it actually be heard and responded to, freedom to roam about the world and be accepted and treated with respect, freedom to not have to worry about being discriminated against, freedom to not worry about whether we will get the job because of the color of our skin, freedom to be able to breathe with ease when our children leave our home without worry that they won't make it back, freedom to be able to express our frustrations without being considered as the angry Black woman, freedom to be treated with honor, dignity, and respect. And I think we all get the picture. The freedoms can go on. Today, I challenge those who are listening, those who are present, and those who will listen in the future to examine yourself. How do you contribute to the imprisonment of African Americans in modern day? And how are you going to challenge yourself to make the change? To change your way of thinking, to change your perspective, and to change your approach. The world is depending on you to be the change that we need. The torch has been passed. How are you going to run your marathon? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now open it up to my colleagues for comments.
Sure. Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Commissioner Maps.
Well, thank you very much. Taisha, as always, I want to thank you for everything that you do for the city. And I want to thank you for those moving comments that you shared with us today. I also see CAN leadership online. I want to thank CAN for joining us today. And colleagues, I want to say this. I am delighted to join you in proclaiming June 19th, 2024 to be Juneteenth. As we know, Juneteenth is a mashup of two words, June and 19th. Juneteenth commemorates June 19, 1865. That was the day when Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and read a proclamation, General Order Number 3, which began with these words. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. In other words, Juneteenth commemorates the day when Black Texans learned that the Civil War was over and all slaves were free. Now, you might notice something odd about the timing of that announcement. Juneteenth commemorates June 19th, 1865, but most modern Americans think that slavery ended 2 years earlier, on June 1st, 1863, when Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. Those dates are a reminder that slavery did not end overnight. Instead, slavery receded slowly at different times in different places. The Emancipation Proclamation of 1863 declared slavery to be illegal in the Confederate States. Of course, at that time, those states were in open rebellion against our federal government. So the Emancipation Proclamation didn't free slaves. Instead, it clarified the purpose and promise of the Civil War. With the Emancipation Proclamation, Lincoln made it clear that the point of the Civil War was to end slavery in the United States. However, in the real world, slavery receded slowly and unevenly over time, almost county by county. For Black Texans, slavery did not end until 2 months after the end of the Civil War, and that is the day that we commemorate with Juneteenth. Now, as the great-grandson of a Black Texan, this history resonates with me deeply. For me, Juneteenth is both a liberation story and a story about justice delayed. And as a Portlander on this Juneteenth, I also want to take a moment to remember Clara Peoples. Miss Peoples was a beloved Portlander, a community leader, and an educator, and she is the undisputed mother of Juneteenth here in Oregon. In Oregon, the celebration of Juneteenth began in 1945 when Clara Peoples, a Black woman from Oklahoma who worked at the Vanport shipyards, noticed that her co-workers did not celebrate Juneteenth. So Miss Peoples asked her boss if she and her co-workers could celebrate Juneteenth on their break. Years later, in 1972, Miss Peoples helped organize Portland's first annual Juneteenth celebration, and Portland has celebrated Juneteenth ever since. So for me, it is truly an honor to play a small part in continuing the Juneteenth tradition Miss Peoples started here in Oregon. And that's why I want to take this moment to call on all Portlanders to observe Juneteenth. Thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, I'll hand the floor back to you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mapps. Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you. And thank you, Commissioner Mapps, for bringing this proclamation forward, and Mayor. I want to thank you, Taisha, for once again sharing your powerful words. I just love hearing you speak. Juneteenth is an important day of reflection. It's also a day that we should commit to tangible action. And just like you so eloquently stated in your examples, it starts with us here at the city, valuing and seeing Black employees, their experiences and recognition of contributions that sometimes don't get recognized at all. Also, it means actually budgeting to these values, retaining and promoting to these values, and actions reflecting these values as well. So we should always be asking us, does this move us closer or further away from Black determination, self-determination, and liberation? And not today, but every day we need to recommit to doing this and ensuring that the work we do is community-led and community-informed, and supporting the liberation and contributions of Black people and communities here at the city and everywhere. So thank you again for all your leadership. Thank you to your colleagues as well at CAN for all their leadership and all that you do on behalf of the city. Thank you.
Commissioner Ryan.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Commissioner Mapps, for bringing this important proclamation forward and for your important history you just shared. And thank you, Taisha, for sharing that presentation with us, and to the members of CAN who we'll hear from soon, I assume, your partners on CAN leadership, Ira and Marvin. That was such a compelling presentation, as always. I was just thinking about the formalities of speaking to injustice. That was really good to hear. And then standing on business. That's the line, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And I was like, generation moment. So thanks for making it a little more clear. Thank you for allowing us to receive that. I'm just going to pause after when you mentioned after freedom and after liberation, you mentioned community. And of course, we have the Juneteenth, I think, parade on Saturday morning. But something that I've become really fond of, last year was the first one, was the Juneteenth Rodeo, and that'll be this Sunday. Look, you got happy. It's returning for its second year, and this time at the Memorial Coliseum, stepping up from the first one last year at the Expo Center. Ivan McClellan, who had the vision for this rodeo, and City of Gresham Councilor and Multnomah County Board-elect Vincent Jones-Dixon, who worked to support it, have really elevated it, and it's such an amazing showcase of talent in it. And you can feel the history of Portland too when you're doing community connections at the event. But it also had me thinking about the cowboy, cowgirl culture, if you will, and those stereotypes and how they're not always accurate. And growing up in Portland, traveling around Oregon, I think my vision as a child was thinking of those macho white dudes. Dates me, but like I think John Wayne's the only one I can think of right now. But then I went to a rodeo featuring Native Americans when I was a child in Eastern Oregon that had me think about it differently. And then I remember when I was visiting my auntie in Southern California, we went to a rodeo that was mostly Mexican Americans. So at a pretty young age, I realized, okay, that wasn't accurate. But it really wasn't until this rodeo came last year that had me wondering about that culture as well. And so there's roots in Texas and Louisiana specifically that I heard a good story about on NPR recently. And so anyway, it's just another example where we get stuck in a story of stereotypes that aren't always true. And so anyway, back to the event. It's expected to draw 7,000 spectators this weekend. I guarantee you'll have an incredible experience. This is me promoting it right now. Our office is supporting it. Last year, I was surrounded by so much joy at that celebration. And it's called the 8 Seconds Rodeo. And our city pays tribute to those who have fought tirelessly for freedom, equality, and recognition. And we get to experience joy at the same time. So let us celebrate the achievements of our African-American Black community, not just in the rodeo, but across all walks of life. And if you can't find tickets, please find your tickets. I think there's a few remaining for the 8 Seconds Rodeo this Sunday. And I'm very humbled to say aye to this presentation. Good to see you.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
I want to thank the mayor and Commissioner Mapps for sponsoring this proclamation, and to CAN for their enduring dedication in organizing this annual Juneteenth celebration. Juneteenth serves as a pivotal moment to not only commemorate the long journey towards freedom for Black Americans, but also to celebrate the vibrancy of Black culture and the remarkable achievements born from resiliency in the face of adversity. Across our city, a multitude of expressions of this rich heritage are taking place. Commissioner Ryan has highlighted a couple of them, including the Black Rodeo event at Memorial Coliseum and culminating with the cherished Juneteenth parade and festival at Lillis Albina Park. I got to participate in that 2 years ago. Thank you to Taisha, Ira, Marvin, and the entire CAN leadership for their unwavering support of Black employees within our city government. Juneteenth's legacy stands as a testament to the enduring spirit, determination, and unwavering perseverance of Black Americans. Let us honor this legacy by actively working towards a future that embodies its ideals. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just join in. Thank you, colleagues, for your thoughtful remarks. And thank you to the City African American Network and Taisha for your hard work to make today possible. We appreciate it very much. This morning, we take time to honor Juneteenth, a day of profound historical significance and celebration of freedom, resilience, and the enduring spirit of the African American community. Indeed, Juneteenth is an essential part of our nation's history and an opportunity to reflect on the ongoing journey towards equality and justice. In Portland, we recognize and honor the significant contributions of the African American community. From arts and culture to education, business, public service, the impact of African Americans on our city is clearly immeasurable. They've contributed to our cultural and social fabric in many countless ways, continually enriching our community and driving us forward. And indeed, within my administration, we came into service under the leadership of Maurice Henderson, the first Black member of our community to hold that role in the city's history. We then hired the most diverse mayoral staff in the city's history. I was very proud of that. We hired the first Black woman to be the police chief of the city of Portland. We have to acknowledge, despite our best efforts, that significant challenges remain. The struggle for true equality and justice continues and it is our collective responsibility to address systemic racism, inequity, and injustice in its many forms. The work is for us to do. Portland is a city committed to creating an inclusive and equitable community where everyone, regardless of race, has the opportunity to thrive. Now I'd like to welcome Ira Bailey and Marvin Dean, both from the Portland Housing Bureau and members of the CAN leadership team, to read the Juneteenth proclamation. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Mayor and Council, and I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to say thank you and also let you all know that we are also joined by our other leadership member here with us, Gwen Thompson. I'm just going to show you all here. So she didn't get on camera, but she's here with us as well. We're out on our retreat for the Housing Bureau today. So we're Zooming in today, and we have the opportunity to do this. So thank you all again for this opportunity to present today.
Yeah, thank you, commissioners. And just so you know, I'm not trying to look cool with sunglasses. I have glasses so that I can read. They're just transition lenses. So
Sure.
You're trying to be cool for today. That's all. It's all right. We're outside, so we get the luxury of being outside on this beautiful day.
Rub
all
it
right.
in.
Anything you want to say? No, we're good. All right. So we'll proceed. Thank you again. Whereas, since the inception of the United States, beginning with the first known Europeans to set foot on this land in 1492, peoples of non-Western European descent have had challenges obtaining equal and ethical consideration, respect, and treatment by those of Western European descent. And
whereas voluntary and involuntary indentured servitude in the United States began as a method of obtaining cheap labor based on class, social position, or criminal punishment, it soon evolved into involuntary slavery based on race. And
whereas on September 22nd, 1862, then Union President Abraham Lincoln issued and later made effective and signed on January 1st, 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared the freedom of slaves in Confederate states which rebelled against the Union, tied slavery to the Civil War, and allowed blacks to fight on behalf of the Union. And
whereas on June 19th, 1865, the news of the Emancipation Proclamation and its impact was presented to the enslaved people of Galveston Bay, Texas, informing them of their freedom. And
whereas on December 6, 1865, the 13th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States was ratified, thus ending slavery and non-conditional servitude in the United States. And
whereas we honor June 19th, now known as the portmanteau Juneteenth, as the day we celebrate the end of slavery in the United States. And
whereas Juneteenth has evolved into a way to pay homage to ancestors and celebrate Black culture, liberation, and the achievements of Black Americans. This holiday also presents a powerful opportunity for critical reflection, social action, and examination of our progress or lack thereof towards racial equity and justice. And
whereas Juneteenth is a time to reflect on where we've been, where we are, and to create a vision for where we desire to go and do our part in rewriting a narrative that often depicts the Black person as downtrodden, troublesome, threatening, unworthy, undervalued, and less than human. And
whereas, as we rewrite our narrative, we take pride in acknowledging our struggle, while also grabbing our story by the reins and guiding it in a graceful way to speak our truth of resilience, triumph, value, worth, grace, poise, brilliance, and excellence. And
whereas we demand that our truth must be heard loud and clear, we are declaring the Black family, the Black community, and the Black experience as valuable, powerful, majestic, graceful, driven, principled, and flourishing in spite of our narrative of struggle, oppression, and restriction. And
whereas Black resilience, brilliance, and power can be found weaved throughout our existence and will continue to rewrite the narrative of the Black family and continue to break barriers, challenge the status quo, and create opportunities for our contributions to be highlighted and embraced. And
Whereas we call upon all peoples to join us in this celebration of freedom from physical, mental, emotional, financial, ethical, moralistic, and spiritual slavery that contributes to harm of self, harm of family, and harm of community, regardless of race, age, gender, or ability. And
whereas we as people walk with our heads held high, our shoulders squared, putting one foot in front of the other, knowing that the odds are against us, but yet we refuse to lay down. We will continue to rise up and rise above the suppressive, oppressive, exclusive, and depressive ways of a racist world that can often be found seeking to destroy the true essence of the Black diaspora. And
now, therefore, I, Ted Wheeler, Mayor of the City of Portland, Oregon, the City of Roses, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2024 to be Juneteenth in Portland and encourage all people to celebrate this freedom, not just on June 19th, but every day. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all. And Taisha, thanks for holding it down for us over there.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Taisha.
Thank you all. Have a good one.
All right, thank you. Colleagues, why don't we take a break here? We'll take well, actually, why don't we do the next proclamation, since we have people waiting, I believe?
Yeah, we do.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do the next proclamation, then we'll take a break after that. So we'll go to the regular agenda, please. Item number 519.
Proclaim June 12, 2024 to be Shadow Machine Studios Day.
Colleagues, today we take a moment to celebrate the achievements of Shadow Machine Studios, a local animation studio that has brought creativity, innovation, and recognition to our city. Shadow Machine has become a beacon of artistic excellence and a testament to the thriving creative community that defines Portland. For years, Shadow Machine has produced imaginative storytelling and groundbreaking animation. The talented team at Shadow Machine has continually pushed the boundaries of what's possible in animation. Their dedication to their craft has helped put Portland on the map as a hub for excellence in animation. Our city embraces creativity, diversity, and innovation, ideals that are clearly evident in Shadow Machine's work. Shadow Machine has also contributed concrete economic benefits to our city, including countless job opportunities while fostering our thriving creative community. I'd like to extend my congratulations to the team at Shadow Machine Studios for their ongoing excellence as well as their many achievements. I also want to share that my staff joined Commissioner Rubio and the Prosper team in touring their Northwest Portland facility earlier this year. We're so proud to have you call Portland home and are committed to supporting your continued growth and success in every way going forward. Now, I'll pass it to my colleagues to share their remarks. And we've had a request, Commissioner Rubio, followed by Commissioner Mapps, Ryan, and Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mayor. I am so honored and excited to be recognizing this iconic member and treasure of Portland's film community today. And they are so beloved that when word got out that we were doing this and bringing this forward, everybody wanted to be on record and be supportive and co-sponsor this event today. So that's how much you are all appreciated, and I wanted to share that with you. I also want to do a quick shout out to the amazingly talented, scrappy, and creative Shadow Machine staff who are watching together live from the studio, I understand. So hello, awesome team watching. Shadow Machine has helped cement Portland's reputation as the epicenter for the animation industry. And I've had a few opportunities now this year to visit their studio and spend time with their team. And each time I'm there, I continue to be blown away by the creative process behind their production and just the pure love for the craft that their employees so clearly demonstrate. And since they came to Portland in 2015, Shadow Machine has employed hundreds of people at their Portland studios, most notably during the production of Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, for which they received accolades at the Critics' Choice Movie Awards, BAFTAs, the Golden Globes, the Oscars, you name it, they received it. I also want to acknowledge their other outstanding projects for Netflix, for Comedy Central, Max, and of course, the wonderful Tiny Chef for Nickelodeon, among others. And I can honestly say that I am starstruck by Tiny Chef, who continues to be my favorite celebrity, local celebrity, along with, of course, Ruby and Henry. And we had the fortune of going to see the behind the scenes production, which was incredible. The costumes, the tiny parts of all the sets, the level of detail, it was just so inspiring and creative. And I can definitely say I'm a huge fan. I was also recently able to actually hold your Academy Award, and it's much heavier than it actually seems. And I was thinking, the other day that it really represents all the tremendous work, quality, attention to detail that it takes to put these put together these kinds of specialized productions. And it was very evident that your heart goes into this work as well. And one person who's a part of this legacy and past of the vast contributions to the body of work is Portlander Mark Gustafson, of course, a pioneer in the industry, and who's worked on numerous stop motion productions. And Mark sadly passed away earlier this year, but we could not do this without acknowledging and honoring him and his contributions today. And great agencies and organizations happen because of great leadership and staff. So I want to recognize Alex Bulkley, owner and chief visionary of Shadow Machine, Rosemary Colliver. I'm sure I'm leaving out other folks, and Rosemary is the head of legal and business affairs, who also serves on the board of directors of Oregon Film. And also, these folks and their teams have been a force of nature in the industry, so I want to thank you all and your teams for their active engagement, not only in the city, but also making sure that you advocate for your neighborhood and ensuring it's a safe and thriving place for your employees. So thank you for all you do to the city, for the industry, for your employees, and for Portland. And so with that, I will pass it to my colleagues to provide opening remarks as well.
Thanks, Commissioner Rubio. Commissioner Mapps.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Commissioner Rubio. And I want to thank our guests from Shadow Machine Studios for joining us today. And I also want to thank you for making Portland your home, which is one of the reasons why I am so delighted to join my colleagues in proclaiming June 12th, 2024 to be Shadow Machine Studios today, Studios Day. As we all know, Shadow Machine Studios is a world-renowned animation and production studio based right here in Portland, Oregon. For those of you at home who don't recognize the name Shadow Machine Productions, who are probably a fan of many of their shows, which include offerings as varied as Robot Chicken, BoJack Horseman, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and many more. And I also want to join my colleague, Commissioner Rubio, in expressing my condolences to the Shadow Machine Studios family for the loss of your good friend and colleague, Mark Gustafson, who passed away in February of this year at the age of 63. Mark was an acclaimed animator. He kicked off his career at Will Vinton Studios, where he worked on the classic characters from the California Raisin series. And in 2009, Mark served as the animation director for Wes Anderson's Fantastic Mr. Fox, which earned him a nomination for the Best Animated Feature Oscar. And in 2023, Mr. Gustafson won an Oscar for co-directing Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Mr. Gustafson's friends described him as a pillar of stop-motion animation, a true artist, a compassionate, sensitive, and mordantly funny man, a legend, and a friend that inspired and gave hope to all around him. Mark will be missed, but his contributions to Portland and the globe's arts and cinema scene will be remembered and celebrated for years to come, which is why I propose that we dedicate what I hope will be the first of many Shadow Machine Studios Days here in Portland, Oregon, to celebrating the life and legacy of Mark. And I encourage all Portlanders to do the same. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Commissioner Mapps. Commissioner Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, welcome to the Shadowbox community and friends who are here with us today. There's quite a few of you, and those from afar watching. I think our market share might have gone up 100% because of this proclamation. Alex and the entire Shadow Machine family, like my colleagues, please accept the sincere condolences, the tragic loss of your studio partner, Mark Gustafson. It was really a moment to pause when, at least when I heard about that passing on February 1st. So I can only imagine what it's been like for all of you to take that in and to grieve and to come together as a community. He's leaving behind such an incredible legacy. Look at all of you in the body of work that many creative artists could only dream of achieving. And thank goodness he did that here in the city of Portland. Last March in 2023, I was really fortunate enough to join a celebration event that you held in a tour of the Shadow Machine Studios. And I can't express to you the magic that was witnessed inside. It was such a nondescript black box building, and then you open the door and there you all are being welcoming, and the presentation and the dialogue, your incredible team just was all over it. And you had such a good group of people gathered at that day. Like Commissioner Rubio was able to hold up, you had like a lot of hardware. It wasn't just the Oscar, there was like a Golden Globe, all these other awards. But that Oscar, you're right, Commissioner Rubio, it shocked me how heavy it was. But anyway, it was just great to see all that hardware on the table in Portland, Oregon. And you gave us the behind the scenes tour of your studio. My spouse and I were both really blown away by what we witnessed. And we just seen the rows of Pinocchio heads featuring every different facial expression on it. That detail, I'll just never forget how much time and effort goes into that craft. And it was just amazing also to listen to your team talk about how they made the craft, the wood, the metal, the clay, the cloth into living, breathing, moving, speaking figures. You were also passionate and proud of the work that you do. And I understand when Pinocchio was in production, Shadow Machine employed 500 people in Oregon. And we're really blessed in a city and state to have a number of creative claymation and other animation studios. It's a sector of our economy I don't think we lift up enough. And when you're in your neighborhood, it's that type of, I don't know what we call it anymore, industrial makerspace. We must continue to zone for that and to covenant that in our city. And I was just really taking that all in, what an important part of our economy that you provide. And your studio and all those like it, they're real jobs for artists that come from multi-mediums. And so just from an economic standpoint, I'm a big fan, and we all should be. Anyway, thank you for choosing to bring your talent to Portland. There's other choices you could have made. We're proud of it. We'll take the Hollywood North label here. I vote aye if there is such a vote. But anyway, great to be here.
Thank you, Commissioner Ryan. Commissioner Gonzalez.
I just want to thank Mayor Wheeler and Commissioner Rubio for bringing this proclamation forward. I want to echo and emphasize my colleagues' celebration of Shadow Machine. I can just visualize Dan and Amo at your studio. Dan's the sports guy, Amo's loves the film. So I'm celebrating even though I wasn't there. I also want to just take this moment to emphasize the contribution of creative artists to our economy, our social fabric, our general well-being in the city of Portland, and even our public safety. Shadow Machine is a big part of that. Their films put Portland on the map at the international level and demonstrate that Portland's artistic output punches above its weight. Shadow Machine's films are gorgeous and meaningful and offer a tangible example of what can result if you pursue your artistic craft, dreams, vision to the utmost. I also want to acknowledge that today's proclamation for me is not just about Shadow Machine or Hollywood caliber filmmaking, but for all of Portland's artistic endeavors. The painting, the music, the theater is happening constantly in our diverse and vibrant neighborhoods. I want to thank you so much for bringing this forward.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Gonzalez. So we have a presentation. I understand it. Tim Williams, the Executive Director of Oregon Film, and Amy Dotson, the Executive Director of the Portland Art Museum's Cinema for Untold Tomorrow, otherwise known as PAMCUT, are going to give us some remarks. Welcome and thank you for being here. It's good to see you both.
Thank you, Mayor Wheeler. Council members, I will defer to my colleague Amy to go first.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amy, and I'm super excited to be here. It sounds like the secret is out, and you all know that Shadow Machine is awesome. And today is their day, literally. And I am thrilled to sit here today as these fine folks receive a proclamation, because I personally have never been to a proclamation ceremony or known anybody that's been proclaimed. So by its very nature, this is a very cool moment in time, and I'm honored to be a small part of Shadow Machine Day. And I know we're supposed to be present and live in the now and all that goodness, but for a moment, let's travel through space and time, as June 12th is a day full of epic, seismic, important folks who dared to put themselves out there and try something new. So it's the absolute perfect spot for Alex and Corey and Rosemary and the whole Shadow Machine gang watching, hi everybody, to land in the pantheon of history. Today is a day full of people that captured collective imagination, that can sing 5 octaves, that remind us of the importance of perseverance and creativity, and that those things can make an impact not just in the here and now, but inspire us for a long time to come. It's a day that reminds us that small acts can affect incredibly big change. Because today is the day that Houdini freed himself from a straitjacket while hanging upside down. Little League Baseball finally allowed girls to play ball. And in the 90s, yes, way back when the earth was cooling and dinosaurs roamed the land, according to my children, it was indeed a most epic day, because Mariah Carey released her debut album and George Clooney bravely donned a codpiece for Batman and Robin. All to say, thank you, June 12th, for all the abundance you bring. But back to the here and now. It is now an established fact that today is a day that honors those who take tiny steps and enormous swings forward to change the world. And in this case, my friends at Shadow Machine have done both. From creating the smallest eyeballs in the most extraordinary characters on the most ridiculously elaborate sets to make wonderful stories that the world has never seen come alive, it has continued to push the boundaries of storytelling and expand the possibilities of animation artistry right here in Portland and around the globe. On any given day in Slabtown, Shadow Machine artists and innovators, above all, create things that have never existed before. These folks literally make magic happen. All to say, Shadow Machine is a great company, and in great company with a group of people who were told it couldn't, it shouldn't, it wouldn't be done, and went ahead and created a new path forward anyway. So in 10 or 20 or 50 or 100 years from now, someone gives a proclamation speech to a hologram animation studio or a robotic storytelling company just opening in Mars. I hope they will look back on this day and see the extraordinary impact of this team of folks who tirelessly captured our imagination with BoJack Horseman, that made us laugh with Tuca and Birdie and Robot Chicken, and that wowed us with the epic storytelling of Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, where I was lucky enough to work with this incredibly talented crew on last summer's Blockbuster exhibition showcasing their work at the Portland Art Museum. I hope they too will take a moment to honor Shadow Machine and reflect on how believing the impossible is possible can change everything. So to all those at Shadow Machine who are here today, and that those who have added to the collective creativity over the years, and particularly with our love to our dear friend Mark Gustafson, on behalf of all of us at the Portland Art Museum and Pam Cutt, thank you. We hope today is loud and proud and a reminder that what you do here in our city matters. Portland is brighter, creatively richer, and more exciting because you are in it. And this city and all of us in it honor and appreciate you and your gifts. Not just in this moment, but into the wildness of the future ahead of us. You will no doubt continue to inspire artists and audiences for years to come. Your work, your kindness, and your unique collaborative spirit that I've seen and many of us here have seen is like no other. So go ahead, take your seat next to the greats, the creatives, the risk takers, the history makers before you, and let's celebrate. Wear your sash, accept your flowers, and take a moment to take it all in. Because today, celebrating 25 years of awesomeness is Shadow Machine. Now and forever, it is your day, the greatest day, June 12th, that there ever was, because you share it not only with all those folks, but it's National Peanut Butter Cookie Day and Red Roses Day. What a day! Thank you, everyone, for allowing me to cheer on my friends at Shadow Machine on behalf of all of us creatives here in Portland.
Thank you.
I knew it was a mistake to follow up,
Fo-
Amy.
follow-
You
said go first.
There, tough act.
That was awful. That was awesome. Thank you very much, members of the council, Mayor Wheeler. My name's Tim Williams. I'm the Executive Director of Oregon Film with the State Film and Media Economic Development Office. And just by that introduction, it's going to be a lot drier than what Amy did. So that's why I bring her along, to make me look good. I'd like to thank you very much for recognizing the artistry of Shadow Machine. I also like to thank the Portland Events and Film Office for their support of our industry and for their partnership in our industry, especially Elise, who works with us quite diligently on all of this. I have for a long time claimed that Portland is a world leader in animation, specifically in stop motion animation. In fact, I think we are the world leader in stop motion animation, but I don't have any data to back that up. I just like to claim it. The industry started here in Portland in the 1970s, as some of you have already indicated, and it was led to the first Oscar win for an Oregon-made animated project called Closed Mondays by Will Vinton and Bob Gardner. This led to the establishment of Will Vinton Studios in Northwest Portland and on to the other amazing Portland animation companies like Bent Image Lab, House Specials, Hinge Digital, Deep Sky, and many Oscar nomination and wins for Hillsborough-based Laika. It also fostered and supported world-leading animators and illustrators like Rose Bond, Joanna Priestley, Shel White, and of course, the late Mark Gustafson. From my very first conversations with Alex and Shadow Machine almost 10 years ago now, it was clear that this is a very special company, and a company that produces BoJack Horseman and Robot Chicken should feel very, very welcome in Portland. This is not only a company that creates hundreds of good creative jobs and adds tens of millions of dollars to our economy and hires true artists with a talent for a unique form. This is something that lies at the core of this city that it now calls home. Shadow Machine is not just a magnet for talent recruitment for our city, it is also a direct reflection of what makes Portland so uniquely creative and exciting. And I thank you for recognizing that and for the work of Shadow Machine with this proclamation. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you all. It's now my honor to read a proclamation on behalf of the City Council and by extension, the city itself. Whereas culture, creativity, and the arts fuel our economy, nurture the spirit of our citizenry, and shape Portland's identity. And whereas the City of Portland acknowledges the significant impact of the animation industry and the imaginative work Shadow Machine has created, which in turn has created jobs in our community, sparked creativity in our city, and brought international recognition to the medium of stop motion animation. And whereas the late Mark Gustafson, a pioneer in the animation world, made Portland, Oregon his personal and professional home. And whereas Mark Gustafson's contributions to both animation community and to the entertainment community at large were varied and notable. And whereas Mark Gustafson's work with Will Vinton Studios and Shadow Machine helped cement Portland as one of the epicenters for stop motion animation, working on projects such as The Adventures of Mark Twain, Meet the Raisins, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and the Academy Award-winning Guillermo del Toro, Pinocchio. And whereas Shadow Machine Studios, co-founded by Alex Bulkley, has operated in Portland since 2015, working on productions such as BoJack Horseman, Tiny Chef, and In the Know. And whereas Shadow Machine Studios employed over 500 employees in the state of Oregon over a course of the 940 days it took to make Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. And whereas Shadow Machine's work received an exhibition at the Portland Art Museum following its debut at MoMA, where visitors learned that it takes 24 frames to move a single character for 1 second. And whereas Shadow Machine in 2023 received accolades at the Critics' Choice Movie Awards, the BAFTAs, the Golden Globe Awards, and the Oscar for Best Animation Feature. And whereas Shadow Machine has global recognition that spotlights Portland, Oregon as a primary hub for a creative workforce, indelible reputation, and award-winning productions. Now, therefore, I, Ted Wheeler, the mayor of the city of Portland, Oregon, the City of Roses, do hereby proclaim June 12th, 2024, to be Shadow Machine Studios Day in Portland and encourage all Portlanders to celebrate their contributions. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. And for those of you who are in-house, we've had a request from the council to have a photo with you if you dare. And we'll take a 10-minute recess. We'll reconvene at 11:50 a.m. We're in recess. with item 520, which is a resolution.
Direct the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability to develop a legislative proposal to revise signage regulations for the Rose Quarter Event Campus.
Colleagues, I'm pleased to co-introduce this item with Commissioner Rubio. This resolution directs the city agencies responsible for development regulations to initiate a legislative review of the signage restrictions and review requirements that apply to the Rose Quarter campus as well as the Moda Center. Initiating this process is something the City Council conceptually agreed to with the approval of the non-binding term sheet for a Rose Quarter lease extension with Rip City Management back in February. Now I'll invite Commissioner Rubio to share her opening remarks.
Thank you, Mayor Wheeler. As the mayor mentioned, this resolution specifically requests that we initiate a process to explore all the things he just mentioned, and also propose additional changes that would allow additional signage opportunities to be more consistent with newer or recently renovated NBA arenas in other cities. We understand from Rip City Management that additional signage is necessary to help create the indoor and outdoor excitement needed around a premier multi-purpose arena, and that this signage can help generate revenues. And that's why I supported including this commitment in the term sheet for a lease extension. So I will now turn it over to Carl Lyle and Phil Namening.
Thank you, Commissioner and Mayor. Carlisle, Office of Management and Finance, Spectator Venues Program Manager. As you both have noted, this city-initiated effort to revisit signage regulations at the Rose Quarter was one of a series of non-binding commitments the city made when it approved that term sheet for a new 5-year bridge agreement with Rip City Management back in February. Additional commitments in the term sheet included transferring ownership of the Moda Center to the city and investing future city revenues derived from Blazers games back into the building's capital needs, if matched one-to-one by Rip City. The commitment to review signage regulations was one part of that larger package that together will keep the team playing at the Moda Center through at least October 2030, with an option to extend to October 2035. It's also important to remember that the real goal of the bridge agreement is to allow the parties additional time to seek the necessary resources for a new longer-term deal that would extend the commitment of the team to the Rose Quarter further into the future and provide the necessary resources for a major renovation of the arena. Phil Nameny from the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability has been assigned to shepherd this project and can speak to the process and proposed schedule.
Thank you, Carl. For the record, Phil Nameny with Bureau of Planning and Sustainability and the Co-Development Group. And we are currently working on developing code language for Title 32, which is the sign regulations. And we're looking at creating a separate set of regulations that would allow more flexibility and a greater amount of signage and changing image signage in the Rose Quarter area. While we would make changes to Title 32, we are also looking at keeping the provisions that allow for a design review oversight of signs in that area. That is an important aspect of the Central City Plan District. And also we're recognizing the fact that Veterans Memorial Coliseum is a historic landmark as part of that process. We'll be looking at releasing a proposed draft towards the end of July in advance of a Planning Commission hearing tentatively scheduled for August 24th. So this is a fairly quick turnaround. Once we go through the Planning Commission hearing and recommendation, we will be back with the City Council likely at the end of October or early November. The intent of this project is to get your vote by the end of the year. So that's part of the reason for this accelerated schedule. I'm here for any questions if there's anything that comes up about that. But with that, I'm going to pass it on to AJ Zahn, Senior VP of Operations at the Rose Quarter.
Good morning, Mayor.
Morning.
Commissioners. Thank you for having me. My name is AJ Zahn, and I am Senior Vice President of Operations and GM of the Rose Quarter with the Portland Trailblazers and Rip City Management. Thank you for taking the time to consider this resolution, which would help enable state-of-the-art signage in the Rose Quarter, benefiting fans, the team, the City of Portland, the Lower Albina neighborhood, and our entire community. State-of-the-art displays, including video boards at Moda Center, will enhance the fan experience by extending the energy from inside the arena to the outside, while also supporting community events as part of the revitalization of the entire Rose Quarter, and increasing safety with additional lighting and foot traffic. This type of signage is a staple in contemporary NBA arenas and will allow our brand partners to reach millions of annual Rose Quarter visitors, providing a new revenue stream and helping to ensure the team's competitiveness with other NBA franchises. The Trailblazers and the City of Portland are aligned in our long-term goal of reaching an agreement to renovate Moda Center and maintain the team's presence in Portland for years to come. We are thankful for the City of Portland's collaboration in making this revitalization a reality and helping pave the way to modernize Moda Center and the Rose Quarter. The modern signage made possible by this resolution is critical to the long-term success of our collaborative efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Colleagues, do you have any questions at this point? Keelan, do we have anybody signed up for public testimony?
Yes, we have one person signed up.
All right, let's hear from them.
Johnny Cortez Galindo. They were going to join in person. Let me make sure they're not online. It doesn't look like they've joined us.
All right, very good. This is a resolution. Please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez. Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
I'd like to thank staff from Planning and Sustainability and Development Services for working together on this. I vote aye.
Wheeler.
I am very happy to support this. I vote aye, and the resolution is adopted. Thank you, everyone. Item 522, an emergency ordinance.
Amend contract with Universal Protection Service LP DBA Allied Universal Security Services to increase amount by $8,500,000 to provide additional professional security officer services.
Colleagues, the city's current security contract expires at the end of the current fiscal year. This ordinance extends the contract period for an additional 3 years, and it increases the spending cap over that 3-year period to meet Bureau demand for security services through June 30th of 2027. Security Manager Manny Guerrera is here to present the ordinance. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today. Good morning. My name is Manny Guerrera. I'm the Security Manager for the Office of Management and Finance. It's close to noon, but good morning, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm coming before you today to receive your approval for extending the current Allied Security contract by 3 years and increasing the contract spend cap by an additional $8.5 million. This extension is critical to ensure we have adequate time to fulfill the tasks outlined in Resolution 37660. Moreover, by increasing the spending cap by the additional $8.5 million, it will cover the additional extension and address the additional services our bureaus have requested. By doing so, we will not only guarantee continuity and stability in our security operations, but also demonstrate our commitment to meeting the evolving needs of our organization. Thank you for your time, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Very good. Do we have public testimony on this item, Keelan?
No one signed up.
Any questions, colleagues? Commissioner Ryan, did you have a comment? No. Please call the roll.
Ryan.
Good to see you, Manny, and thank you for that report. I just want to say I know it's a lot of money, and I wish I could say these services aren't needed. They really are. All of us, my colleagues, have experienced the benefits of your professionalism. Some of us have had, been vandalized at our homes multiple times, and we know that we've had our buildings vandalized frequently and stolen from. So under the current climate, this is just where we are. And so I'm just grateful that we have a very professional system that collaborates with the rest of the public safety system, and I vote aye.
Gonzalez.
I just want to echo some of Commissioner Ryan's comments. For a period of our modern history in the city of Portland, we didn't need the degree of security that we need now to protect city employees, to protect electeds, to protect the orderly operation of these chambers and, frankly, our democracy. Unfortunately, we need these resources. I'm deeply appreciative of this provider's protection of myself, my staff, my colleagues, and frankly, my family. I vote aye.
Maps.
I echo the sentiments shared by my colleagues. I vote aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The ordinance is adopted. Thank you, Manny. Next item, a second reading, 524.
Assess properties for sidewalk, curb, and driveway repair for the Bureau of Transportation.
Colleagues, this is a second reading. We've already heard a presentation and had opportunity for public testimony. Is there any further business on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The ordinance is adopted. 525, also a second reading.
Initiate foreclosure action on 3312 Northeast Broadway for the collection of delinquent city liens placed against the property.
Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Yeah, I just want to thank Kevin and Sharon for their diligence and their work that they've done on this. I've seen a lot of evolution over the last few years. And I'm especially pleased with the reduction in the redemption period from 1 year to 3 months. This reduction will lead to an increased efficiency. In that case, this means we'll be able to deal with these types of properties before further damage is incurred to those in the neighborhood. Anyway, really delighted to vote aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
I want to acknowledge all the work that goes into this, and especially the revenue and BDS staff who are continuously working together to make sure all these measures are taken to prevent these actions. But in most cases, there's been multiple attempts at engagement to clean up these properties and clear the liens. So it's essential that we approve this next step so that we can move the process forward to either motivate the owners towards action or sell the property so code violations and safety issues can be cleared up once and for all. And as a reminder, property owners still have 90 days to clear up their liens and code issues on the property and retain it after it's sold. So there is still time to act. Thanks again for everyone for working on this. I vote aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The ordinance is adopted. 526, also a second reading.
Initiate foreclosure action on 1445 Southeast 174th Avenue for the collection of delinquent city liens placed against the property.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mayor, I believe there were proposed amendments to the exhibits for this one.
Yes, I stand corrected. Sorry, I'm juggling 3 sets of papers here. We need to amend item 526. I move to amend item 526 to substitute exhibits A and B. Is there a second? Commissioner Ryan seconds. Please call the roll on the amendment.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The amendment passes. And then clarification, you want to move that to second reading. Colleagues, item 526 has been amended. It moves to second reading. 527 is the second reading. Please call it.
Initiate foreclosure action on 2734 through 2738 Northeast Alberta Street for the collection of delinquent city liens placed against the property.
This is also a second reading. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The ordinance is adopted. 528, a second reading. Please call the roll.
Initiate foreclosure action on 4611 North Minnesota Avenue for the collection of delinquent city liens placed against the property.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The ordinance is adopted. Item number 529, a second reading.
Initiate foreclosure action on 2626 North Baldwin Street for the collection of delinquent city liens placed against the property.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The ordinance is adopted. Please read item 530. I'll be pulling it back.
Initiate foreclosure action on 4909 Southeast Mitchell Street for the collection of delinquent city liens placed against the property.
Colleagues, I'm pulling item 530 back to my office. The property owner has entered into a payment plan. Please call the roll on item 531.
Authorize the Elliott Area Parking Permit Program as the new area parking permit pilot directed by Council and the Centers and Corridors Parking Management Toolkit.
Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The ordinance is adopted. We'll go to the 4/5 agenda, 531-1.
Adopt amended council impact statement to include economic impact analysis of any proposed regulatory changes.
Colleagues, the next item will amend City Council's impact statement in council to include an analysis of the economic impacts of regulatory changes that council considers in the future. As you'll remember, in April of 2023, City Council adopted Advance Portland, our city's 5-year strategy to grow our local economy and to become more competitive. One of the strategy's key recommendations was to ensure that we, as a city, continue to improve our tax value proposition, the balance between what our residents and businesses pay in taxes and fees and the services that they receive from local government in return. Improving this trade-off is an important factor in how well we can drive inclusive growth in our community. The adoption of an economic analysis into council item impact statements will improve the policymaking process for our current council as well as future councils. Specifically, we'll formalize and incorporate data points and important considerations on how legislation impacts various aspects of our dynamic local economy, including things like the costs of running a small business, producing much-needed housing, or creating new local jobs. Without further ado, I'll now recognize Commissioner Rubio to offer any introductory remarks she would like and to introduce our presenters. Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to co-introduce this report with the mayor that heralds a change and culture in the way that the staff bring items to City Council and the way that we as electeds make informed decisions. I'd also like to acknowledge that even before Advance Portland was adopted, this council directed staff to explore how our actions were affecting housing production feasibility. While there are a lot of unknowns about future council processes, I'm excited about the presentation before us, the proposal before us today, as I believe it will begin a thoughtful, important change in the way that we do business in the city of Portland. So now I'll turn it over to Kimberly Branham, Director of Prosper Portland, and Ruth Levine from the Budget Office.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mayor Wheeler and Commissioners. For the record, I'm Kimberly Branham, Executive Director of Prosper Portland. Ruth Levine and both Directors Ruth Levine and Thomas Lanham, for scheduling reasons, were not able to join, so I'm going to do my best to answer questions, and if there are things that I can't speak to, we will make sure that we have follow-up engagement with both of them. So really pleased to be here with you to speak to and seek your approval to changes to City Council's impact statement in line with strategic objectives and looking at analysis of funding measures and the impact therein towards good governance objectives. Next slide, please. So as was mentioned, City Council adopted Advance Portland, the city's economic development plan, with the goal of building a more inclusive, prosperous, competitive, and future-ready city focused on economic growth. Understanding that Portland must compete globally for investment and talent, the plan encourages action to improve the tax value proposition and recommends requiring an economic impact analysis of new policies, regulation, fees, charges, or taxes. Advance Portland also seeks economic impact analysis of proposed regulatory changes to quantify the impacts to near-term development feasibility and economic health. Accordingly, when City Council adopted Advance Portland in April of 2023, staff were directed to recommend a process to evaluate the economic impacts of new legislation, which is being considered here today by City Council. Next slide, please. As Commissioner Rubio mentioned, recognizing our city and regional housing production challenges in November of 2022, City Council adopted a resolution which directed an assessment of the impact of both existing and potential future city policies and regulations on the cost of building both affordable and market rate housing in Portland. Analysis completed by BAE last year helped inform the housing regulatory relief package that City Council adopted earlier this year. And this proposal intends to provide a tool to increase understanding and transparency for decision makers about the impact of future legislation on the cost of building housing in Portland. Next slide, please. The proposal comes to you today after a series of very productive, collaborative, and important discussions over the past 9 months. We're really grateful for the advice and engagement from our external Advance Portland Advisory Committee, the internal City of Portland Advance Portland Implementation Committee, numerous City of Portland staff involved in the City Council legislative process. And we appreciated hearing from other public agencies who've implemented economic impact ordinances through their legislative processes and thought partnership from economic consultants on both key questions and potential methodologies. Finally, I'd like to recognize my colleagues at Prosper Portland, Justin Douglas, Allison Schweiger, and Shabri Vickers for their capable leadership and collaboration throughout the process. Next slide, please. So you see here the names of the committee members and partners who provided guidance and perspective from a broad diversity of perspectives and who shared enthusiasm for the transparency and culture change that the tools could create within the City of Portland. In purple, you'll see the members of the ad hoc committee who dedicated extra time and attention to this work. Next slide, please. Here you see the all-star list of City of Portland staff who provided guidance from the perspective of how this might be effectively implemented. Their embrace of the goal with an eye towards ensuring that it had the intended impact was invaluable. Next slide, please. All right, at the highest level, we heard 4 key themes in our engagement. External partners were interested in understanding the quantitative impact to the cost of doing business, or the modeled impact to job growth, and in understanding the engagement process and more qualitative considerations, including service levels and understanding how the impact had been incorporated into the legislative process. Internal partners emphasize the need to support city staff in order to produce accurate information, to incorporate these considerations into project planning, and to ensure that we're not needlessly slowing down the decision-making process. Our internal partners also emphasized that the charter transition will lead to new and different city council processes, and so they noted the need for flexibility as we look ahead. Finally, external partners expressed the need for a third party to evaluate the fiscal and administrative impact of tax proposals referred to voters as a way to increase transparency and to understand its economic impact. Next slide, please. So as a result of this feedback, you'll see that the questions seek information both on process and potential impact. To support city staff in understanding of IT's capacity, if approved, the date of the implementation is September 1st, 2024, so there's some time for training. And given the city's own financial constraints, the initial focus will be on helping people share what they know and utilizing available resources, with the potential of investments to fund a more in-depth baseline analysis, quantitative baseline in future phases of implementation if budget allows. The resolution directs the bureaus that are involved in reviewing the impact sheet, so Prosper Portland, City Budget Office, Bureau of Planning and Sustainability, Office of Equity and Human Rights, to work with the transition team to inform and support the updated City Council processes. And finally, the proposal directs the DCA of Finance and Administration to work with relevant partners to secure a qualified external partner consultant to evaluate the impacts of fee and tax related Portland ballot measures from an administrative and fiscal perspective. Next slide, please. So here you have the proposed questions that would be added to the impact statement, covering quantitative, qualitative, and process questions. For proposals with significant impact, there are questions seeking more quantitative information, but there are also questions that just cover how were people engaged in this process, and what do we imagine service levels will be as a result. Next slide, please. So the City Budget Office also wanted to take this opportunity to have some minor amendments to the impact statement. Those refined questions and language direct staff to work with CBO to include ordinance language that is in compliance with local budget law. It requires estimating the fiscal impacts of long-range goals, long-range plans, and really the goal is just to make sure that it is a clear statement to decision makers to improve planning and transparency, not just about, in the current fiscal year, but in future fiscal years. Next slide, please. Okay, for this next section, it's beyond the impact statement. It's a new process that we've been discussing. So the resolution directs the DCA for Finance and Administration to contract with an external consultant to evaluate revenue generation and administrative costs for new tax or fee ballot measures referred to voters by City Council. Unless other budgetary sources are identified, the cost of the external consultant would be paid by the bureau responsible for the programmatic management. It's important to note that this third-party evaluation is intended to focus on new funding mechanisms where the city doesn't have a history of collecting or administering the revenue source. It's not intended to cover the renewal of existing bonds or fees or taxes, since those are already well-known. Next slide, please. For initiative petitions certified to the ballot by the city elections officer, the resolution would direct the DCA for Finance and Administration to do 2 things. The first is to secure an external consultant to estimate the administration costs to the city and payer education costs. And the officer to the chief and offer the chief petitioner an optional matching grant for external consultant to estimate revenue generation with the city's contribution capped at $25,000 per measure. Unless other budgetary resources are identified, the cost of the external consultant would be paid by the future collection of the fees, taxes, as part of the administrative costs. Next slide, please. If you approve the resolution today, steps towards implementation would begin this month, both with meetings with e-council users and reviewers to learn more about the changes and receive information and examples on how to fill out the impact statement. By the end of the summer, BTS will have completed their updates, and teams will be meeting with the transition team as directed to integrate key questions into the process going forward. And then in September, the new impact statement would go live, and we'd continue to work with user group to provide ongoing support as necessary. So with that, happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Great, thank you. And I'm sorry I had to step out, Kimberly, for just a minute. Did Ruth and Thomas give their testimony?
They're not able to join, so.
Okay, very
answer
good.
any questions
And
you might have.
Andrew Hone, I see is on the list as well.
I think he, from a scheduling standpoint, he is in a board meeting right now, so I think
I would agree that's very important that he be there.
Yes.
Very good.
Kimberly, first of all, this is great. I'm kind of surprised we didn't have this already. So did we have something like this and we're improving it, or is this fairly new?
Well, it builds on the community impact portion of the impact statement, which does ask kind of broad questions around how you engaged with the community in general. And then, of course, there's been a question around the fiscal impact of the city, but there hasn't been a directive to be explicit about the economic impact to the city as a whole.
Yeah. So when we go to the ballot box, this will be another level of inquiry that would take place.
So that's correct. What's envisioned is that for items that city council would refer to voters, that there would be a third party that the DCA would secure in partnership with the bureau or council member who's putting it forward to have a CPA or other appropriate entity to analyze what the fiscal impact would be. And then hopefully we can do some internal analysis of the economic impact of those kinds of decisions or the kinds of decisions that council discusses regarding regulation on a daily or weekly basis.
I'm really pleased that this is evolving. We've seen the lack of that scrutiny with economic impact of late, so I appreciate it. Thanks.
Great. Do we have public testimony on this item, Keelan?
We had one person sign up, John Isaacs.
Let's hear from John.
Doesn't look like he arrived.
Is he online?
No.
He's probably in the same meeting.
He's in the board meeting as well.
Yeah, he should also not miss the board meeting. Very good. All right, this is a resolution. Please call the roll.
Ryan?
Thanks, Kimberly.
Yes, thank you for the dialogue. Thank you for the presentation, Kimberly. No time like the present to do something that we probably should have done a long time ago. I vote aye.
Gonzalez?
Aye.
Maps?
Aye.
Rubio?
When council passed Advance Portland, one of the main points of feedback we heard from our small businesses was how little information council had about the ways in which our actions affect their day-to-day business operations. And the same is true about housing development. And now this council and future councils will have better information on these ways that they impact building costs and other costs in Portland. In addition, I'm glad that we found a creative way forward regarding ballot initiatives that are referred by residents. Elected leaders need to know the financial impacts to our budgets, both administrative and programmatic, and voters deserve the best available estimates regarding revenue projections. Both of us, current and future elected officials and voters, need the best available information to make educated decisions. So I want to thank the team at Prosper for all the work that they've done to get this impact statement done, especially Justin and Allison for their hard work and engagement with a broad table of stakeholders. I also want to thank our partners in the mayor's office as well. I'm glad to see this moving forward, and I vote aye.
Wheeler?
I would like to appreciate the work that Prosper Portland did to spearhead this work in collaboration with the entire city implementation team and the advisory committee that represented a cross-section of important community stakeholders. Commissioner Rubio, obviously I want to thank you and your staff for your hard work on this. I'd also like to thank the Budget Office and the Revenue Division for their partnership. Although I recognize that there will be staff capacity issues as well as process to build upon and refine, I'm confident that integrating this analysis into our legislative process will improve the way that we govern now as well as into the future. I vote aye and the resolution is adopted. To the last item, let's see, we pulled item 516, is that correct?
Correct.
516, please.
Authorize intergovernmental agreement with the U.S. Forest Service to improve post-fire simulations of sediment delivery in the Bull Run watershed based on field observations following the 2023 Camp Creek fire for $180,223.
Great, and rather than going through the ordinance, why don't we hear from Mr. Butler first, and then he can express his interests or concerns, and that might help us further refine. Did you want to call him up, Keelan?
Yeah, Robert Butler.
Thank you. Robert, thank you for your patience.
So, Robert Butler, resident of Portland. Good afternoon, hard workers, probably hungry. I don't really understand this one very well. It looks like it's kind of the wrong time for maybe something for long range. But this is a study by kind of a questionable office in Moscow, Idaho, at least from the sound of it. It's hard to say what the deliverables are from reading this contract in terms of what we need and what it's going to tell us. It's going to tell us what happens on different size forest fires as to maybe resulting infiltration of sediments into the Bull Run and possibly affecting the drinking water. It's something that's 2 years off. What we need is something for now, and not something as vague as this where you can't even figure out what the deliverables are. And so I think we ought to pass on this one and focus on what we need for now. And what we're missing right now is the bigger picture from a third-party person is, are we on focus as to what we really need, or are we trying to build a project? And what we really need is analysis of our reliability of delivery of drinking water. Right now, the Bull Run reservoir doesn't serve our purposes, quite frankly. And during the summer, hot summers, we have to supplement from our water wells on the South Columbia shore. And so what we really need is analysis of where we're going to get more water. That's what we need, more water. And the interruption of water, we hope we got that solved with what's now a $3 billion project. I'll tell you about that later maybe. But if we don't consider the bigger picture that maybe our sand filtration facility isn't going to handle forest fires, and this project has nothing to do with ash fallout, by the way. It's erosion after the fire. What we need is a understanding of fire prevention. And nobody's reported out officially about this fire, neither the state marshal, fire marshal, nor the city of Portland, nor the U.S. Forest Service. There's no official report of the Camp Creek fire. What happened? What do we know? What should we know? What should we do about it? There's nothing. So here we are since April 10th, and I'm dead. I think I...
All right. You got your point across. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
Mr. Mayor, I think Mr. Butler, I hear your concerns. Here, why don't we just turn it right over to staff to offer a perspective on why this ordinance is so important to the Bureau and to the 1 million or so people in the Portland metro area who rely on our water 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm Gabe Selmer. I'm the Director of the Portland Water Bureau, and with me is Anna Buckley. She's our Bull Run Watershed Protection Manager. And we can answer some of the commoners' questions about the importance of this intergovernmental agreement. It is with the U.S. Forest Service. I don't know where they are based, but that is the outfit that we are moving forward to have this intergovernmental agreement with. I'll turn it over to Anna. We have just 2 slides to explain a little bit more about what this agreement would do.
Thank you, Gabe. Good afternoon, councilors. For the record, my name is Anna Buckley. I'm the Bull Run Watershed Protection Manager for the Portland Water Bureau. And as I think all of you know, Bull Run is Portland's main water supply, and the Water Bureau co-manages the Bull Run with the Forest Service. So we can advance the slide, please. This picture shows the watershed. Ownership is in green for the Forest Service, blue for the city of Portland. And the Camp Creek fire was the first significant fire that we had in the watershed since we've used Bull Run for water supply since 1895. And it's a really good opportunity for us to learn what those post-fire impacts are. Slide, please. So there's the Forest Service, after they do fire suppression, they develop what's called a burned area emergency response report. So that's the BEAR report. That is a report that's available to the public. It shows the impacts of the fire on soils and erosion and runoff and on vegetation. So this just shows the footprint of the Camp Creek fire relative to our lower reservoir and headworks intake. It was a 2,055 acre fire, pretty small compared to the large 100,000 acre watershed. Next slide, please. So this is one of the outputs from the BEAR team that shows the soil burn severity mapping. And this project would allow us to actually get a better understanding of what those actual erosion impacts are from the soil that's burned severely. We don't have that data now because we haven't had a fire to study. We do have some models that the U.S. Forest Service has developed. That's the Rocky Mountain Research Center. They're based in Moscow, Idaho. Pete Robichaud is the principal investigator. He's well established in this kind of work, and he's going to build on the work that he's already done for us by actually taking on-site measurements of hill slope erosion in the footprint of the burn so we can better calibrate those models so we have a better understanding of what can happen in the future when we have another fire in the watershed. And this is a really important step for us to take to learn from the Camp Creek fire so we can be better prepared in the future. Thank you.
Great.
Colleagues, if I may, I'll tell you, I've served on this council for about 3.5 years, and in this time, I've seen a lot of crises. I will also share with you one of the more terrifying crises that I have lived through, which is kind of isolated to my portfolio, was the Camp Creek fire that we had about a year ago. I'll tell you, for weeks, if not months, we had a fire burning just basically a mile away from the water that we all drank. Frankly, if that had reached our headworks and we had to evacuate people, we as a region would not have many good options. I'll tell you, understanding how fire in particular in this space and erosion in particular in this space is critical to making sure that Portlanders today and into the future have a safe, clean, reliable source of drinking water, which is why the very small amount of money that we propose to study this incredibly unique event is so important, and one of the reasons why I'm glad to bring it forward, and I urge you to vote aye.
No, but thank you, Robert. We all have time. This because it's off the consent agenda. We all now have extra time to consider your comments. That's fine. We appreciate your being here. This is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. And I believe, Keelan, that completes our agenda for this morning.
It does.
All right, we're adjourned until 2 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, and thank you, Water, for being here today.